Cruz, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. We have a cooler day to look forward to today, but we should stay rain-free with plenty of sunshine and high temperatures today for both coastal and those inland communities. We'll get into the lower 60s. So below average temperatures will be in store for us for the first half of the work and school week. As for tonight, a dry cold front pushes into the area, knocking our temperatures down into the middle and upper 30s overnight into early Tuesday morning. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
I am State Farm Agent Rob Renz, and I want to help you get to a better place. Visit us online at ilminsurance.com. That's ilminsurance.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here's 1 minute of tree knowledge in 30 seconds with K.O. Davis.
It's important that you have somebody, a trained professional, to trim your trees. There are these guys out there that just hack trees, and that's the worst thing in the world that you can do. Don't let somebody hat rack your trees. That's a tree term for hat rack. You know how they just cut a tree and it looks like it's just got like a hat rack? These guys just go up and just cut the trees off, and they don't cut it back to the proper spot. Call us, because we care about your trees.
Visit KO's coasttocoasttree.com.
Don't let some yahoo hat rack your trees.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Morning, boys and girls. Time to get up, time to get moving. That's right, rise and shine. Yeah, it's Monday. It's freezing, flipping cold outside. Our last gasp of winter is trying to hold on to our coattails as we run out the door. But it may not be enough, and it's just enough to make you hang your head. That'll help. That's why we use that on this show in the morning. Very few things can really express the angst that we here at the Asylum feel from time to time, experience from time to time, and that's why we're here. Welcome to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. That's just how we are and what we do and why we do. Yep. Oh, where did it go? I had a nifty story lifted up here. Just for fun, I'm sure you've heard here on the Asylum for the past couple of weeks about the Go Fish event that happened at the Arboretum. Celeste Smith is covering this event. It happened yesterday. Go Fish event offers tips on fish safe to eat from the Cape Fear River. We had already discussed that in depth on this show with Dr. Cahoon because we are that good. The North Carolina Coastal Federation, Duke University Superfund Research Center, North Carolina State Cooperative Extension, and Cape Fear River Watch came together at the New Hanover County Arboretum to promote the Stop, Check, Enjoy campaign at the Go Fish event. Many people in the area fish in the Cape Fear River for a low-cost source of protein. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency lists this river as an impaired waterway, and fish from it may contain harmful chemical contaminants for the people who eat them. There were community speakers at the event teaching attendees about safe fish to eat from the river. How do you do it in the most safe way? Which fish are safe, how to cook them in a safe way. But beyond that, it's kind of a reminder that we need to be doing everything we can to get the contaminants that are in these fish, because they live in the Cape Fear River system out of the river system. Oh, she's trying to say that they need to get the contaminants out of the river because the fish live in the river. Okay. And interestingly, all of the people listed earlier, including the North Carolina Coastal Federation, Duke University Superfund Research Center, and the Cape Fear River Watch, have compiled information regarding the impact of pollution on the Cape Fear River. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, compliments, or critique, you can visit the BigTalker.live website and send us an email. Or tune in Wednesdays at 9 a.m. when Dr. Cahoon is here helping us understand what is pollution and how do we get it out of the river. Yep. That's why we do it. Because the river is central to our existence right here in North Carolina. Man. Everybody's favorite band, Guns N' Hoses. Tricked you, didn't I? Another story from Celeste Smith out of WAY talking about the fire department, Wilmington's fire department, and Wilmington's police department. Guns N' Hoses take to the ice for annual Guns N' Hoses charity hockey game. The 9th annual Guns N' Hoses charity hockey game was held on Saturday at Wilmington Ice House, where Wilmington Police and Wilmington Fire battled it out on the ice. The annual event raised more than $6,000 for the Nourish NC, and 2 tickets to the Brantley Gilbert concert at Live Oak Pavilion were raffled off during the game. Wilmington Police, as the Port City Blue Liners, faced off against the fire department as the Port City Fire hockey team. In an intense game on the ice, more than 300 people attended the annual event, and the game went right down to the wire. But Fire went home with the victory, beating the police 2-1. That does seem fun, and they all have like matchy uniforms and an actual referee, and I guess that's, one way to avoid an assault charge on a police officer is to get him into a hockey game. You check him at the wall, you'll be fine. But I guess it does run kind of like a court system. You commit some sort of on the ice, and you're in timeout. So if you hit a cop, you go to timeout. It's weird. Oh, wait, penalty box. But I think it would change everything if you were to, I don't know. Stop it. I'm just going to get in trouble. A staff story that needs your help. Wilmington Police Department is asking for help in locating missing 18-year-old Chantrell Locke. The Wilmington Police Department is searching for Chantrell Locke, an 18-year-old last seen around 9:30 Saturday night. The 100 block of North Front Street. According to police, Chantrell was last seen wearing tan pants, brown shirt, and black sandals. She has cornrows, which are partially brown, along with a nose ring. Police say Chantrell is in need of medication, and for anyone with information of her whereabouts to please call the Wilmington Police Department at 910-343-3609. Get her home, get her medicine. And a story for the skaters. I don't know what the hell's wrong with you people. I mean, come on now. You're not going to like this. Mike Chappelle Park Skate Park temporarily closed due to vulgar vandalism. Really? I hope the skaters find who this vandal is and tune him up. embarrass him, shun him, shame him, call him out, and post all of the heinous BS to his Facebook page and make sure that everybody on planet Earth knows what type of coward thug these people are. Anyway, Carolina Beach Parks and Recreation announced Sunday that the skate park at Mike Chappelle Park will be closed until further notice. According to their Facebook page, the park was vandalized with vulgar language and will be removed before the park is reopened. They say there are 8 cameras throughout the park, which they are currently reviewing. The organization asks anyone who has any idea who vandalized the park to contact the Carolina Police. Take 2. Contact the Carolina Beach Police Department. 8 cameras. I hope these offenders are on all 8 cameras, and we get pictures of them so we can post them all over our page, and we can say that we stand with the Mike Chappelle Park against these hooligans, these thugs. And I hope they get prosecuted to the full extent of the law and are stripped of anything about being a skater, because being a skater is cool. This was not cool. And if it isn't a skater, I hope they wear a skateboard like a hat for the rest of their life, and it takes a surgeon to pull it out of their backside. That's just rude, disgusting, unnecessary, and who does your website, guys? Because you're really blowing it. There we go. Only 5 attempts that time. Just to read an article for you. Celeste Smith again. Riverfront Farmers Market returns to downtown Wilmington. So, if you weren't paying enough for vegetables already, pay a little extra for gas and even more for parking so you can enjoy. Farmers Market downtown had its opening day on Saturday with dozens of vendors at the market's first event of the year. More than 50 vendors set up shop on Dock Street between 2nd and Water Streets for the Riverfront Farmers Market. Andrella Christopher, the manager of the Riverfront Farmers Market, said they were thankful for its return, feeling a sense of normalcy on its opening day after last year being its slightly altered comeback from a 14-month hiatus due to the pandemic. Well, it's wonderful to be able to start the year here in downtown. So, first time in 3 years. Very, very exciting. Very encouraging, said Christopher, manager. There were a variety of vendors selling items like locally grown produce, baked goods, arts, and jewelry. How does jewelry fit into a farmer's market? I mean, is it possible to get a necklace medium rare? Or a fillet of anklet? I don't know. Let's see. Many vendors said the market gave many small businesses like their own a safe place to showcase their goods, attracting residents and tourists. It's a way for me to connect with my customers, a way for me to greet my customers and talk to them about the new products that I have and share the products that they love already so much. It's a very centralized location so that people are able to find me whenever they're looking for me, said Miss Harrington, Queen Esther T's owner. It's great seeing it, grow, expand with the other markets and stuff. It's like it's still thriving and being a good part of downtown. It's nice to know being able to have this market. This market's been a huge growth for me, benefit for the business, said Mr. Fay, TEWNC Farms owner. I guess it's pronounced Toonsy, I don't know. Vendors share that they were pleased with the turnout of the first Riverfront Farmers Market of the year. The crowd has been great, welcoming us back downtown. Big, large crowd, which is great, and I am sure it's going to get even bigger, said Mr. Majkowski, Orchidscapes grower. The Riverfront Farmers Market will be held in downtown Wilmington every Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. until November 19, which is going to do a lot of good for the parking that I would have had to deal with doing the morning show down at the Murchison Building, because that's right in the middle of it. One year when I went, they had put up a little bit of it in the street one weekend last year. But the people, again, this is Saturday morning, bright and early Saturday morning, after all the drunk people had been, upchucking their liquid dinners all over the street from the night before, and nobody watered the street or sprayed the street down like they do in, normal places like New Orleans. Every night they spray the street down, so when you wake up, so as I was approaching my door at the Murchison building, and I'm, what's the word I'm looking for, dodging and avoiding all of the minions, the civilians and the sellers and everything else, I ended up stepping right in a puddle of somebody's stomach contents. And as I looked down at my shoe and looked at the vendor, I said, "That is not going to bode well for you today, sir." He looked down and he said, "Oh, no, it's not." So hopefully the city of Wilmington, with their little street sweepers, will be a little more diligent in the future so that when tourists come to visit and buy fresh produce or whatever for their meal of the day, they don't step in somebody else's puke or poop. Because apparently the denizens of downtown don't have a whole lot of pride or self-image. They just throw up wherever, to get drunk, fall down, do stupid stuff. Man, not making the rest of us look very good. And I'm glad that it's back down there, but I'm hoping Wilmington does a little better job about policing the environment prior to unleashing tourists and citizens on the downtown, because that is not going to leave a good impression. In fact, probably going to leave a mark. Had I been wearing nice shoes, I don't think that they would be nice any longer. Look at that. Holy cow. It's raining in here. It's raining detritus. Celeste Smith, they're keeping you busy. Hundreds gather for the 9th annual Miracles in Motion 5K run. Access of Wilmington hosted the 9th annual Miracles in Motion run, walk, or roll at Miracle Field on Saturday. Event attendees were able to race in a 5K and 1 mile at 9 a.m. in Olson Park. This year's event was held in honor of Wayne Ray Jr. and Captain David McAlpine, who both championed Access of Wilmington and died last year. The annual race brought out more than 200 race participants with and without disabilities, a significant increase in the number of participants in comparison to last year when it was making a return during the pandemic. I think people are excited about the race to walk and just like interacting with other people out here, said Ms. Ferber, Independent Works. It's all about accessibility, inclusivity, and just being able to have everybody out on the course. Not every course is able to have people go out in a chair or whatever their pace is, and we make it available for everybody, said Mr. Smith. Access of Wilmington Executive Director, money raised from Miracles in Motion will benefit the Miracle League of Wilmington, Access Fit, and Project SOAR. Everybody deserves beach time. I think that's a great way to go about it. Great way to go about it. All right. Now we get into the dangers of living in Wilmington, Cape Fear area. Danger, danger, danger. Danger, Will Robertson. Fire danger. Fire danger statement. Red flag warning in effect for the Cape Fear. Due to a combination of low fuel moisture, low relative humidity, and strong winds, the National Weather Service has placed the entire Cape Fear under a fire danger statement or red flag warning through 8 p.m. I guess that's 8 p.m. this evening. I'm not sure. The fire danger statement includes Bladen, Columbus, Pender, New Hanover, and Brunswick County, along with most of central NC and all of South Carolina. A red flag warning is also in effect for Bladen County until 8 o'clock this evening. Critical fire weather conditions are possible due to the low humidity and gusty winds as high as 30 miles an hour, which could lead to explosive fire growth. The National Weather Service is asking for people to refrain from burning anything outside. Ooh. Now, this is interesting. This happened over the weekend. I was here, but I wasn't here for that. A staff story from WAY writes, Whiteville, a traffic stop, leads to water rescue and 3 arrests. A Columbus County Sheriff's Office vice narcotics detective conducted a vehicle stop on the 21st in the vicinity of the San Juan restaurant in Whiteville. The vehicle was occupied by 2 adults and a small child. During the traffic stop, the detective conducted a search of the vehicle. When the detective initiated the vehicle search, one of the vehicle occupants ran off. Christopher Scott Deans, age 26 of Whiteville, ran into the woods, then crossed a pond located behind the restaurant. Deans realized he was stranded in the woods and began calling for help. Sheriff Green requested that a water rescue team respond to assist Deans. Deans was rescued and taken into custody for narcotics and other criminal violations. Look, if you're going to run away, make sure you can get where you're going. You can't run on water there, buddy. What's your name again? Christopher. I don't know how you thought you could run on water in a pond. Whatever. Sabrina Ambonsa Haynes, 30, of Cerro Gordo, arrived on the scene and was taken into custody for violations related to this incident. Detectives located cocaine and narcotic paraphernalia during the vehicle search. Christopher Scott Deans was charged with resisting a public officer, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and child abuse. He received a $21,500 secured bond. Sabrina was arrested and charged with possession with intent to sell or deliver marijuana, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and child abuse. She received an $8,500 secured bond. I'm not sure how that bond works. Why is his, 4 times, near 3 times what hers is? Nearly 3 times, 2.5. Corey Dustin Harris, who's this guy? Of Hallsboro, was arrested and charged with possession of cocaine, possession with intent to sell and deliver marijuana, maintaining a vehicle to keep, sell a controlled substance, and child abuse. He received a $15,000 secured bond, which is almost twice what Sabrina paid. So I'm guessing if you're cute and female, you get reduced bond. Is that how this works? I mean, don't try to tell me that because she's the mother, she received a reduced bond so that she could provide for the child that she was arrested for abusing. Every one of them should be under $1 million bond. Child abuse immediately. I mean, it's like, no, we do not let you out. If you are arrested under suspicion of child abuse, no. Automatic. Take that power away from all of them. Just say, you know what? $1 million bond. All y'all. So, Christopher, Sabrina, and Corey. Of course, at the top of the article, they're saying that the vehicle was occupied by 2 adults and a small child. One of the vehicle occupants ran off. Christopher Deans ran into the woods, but they don't explain how it is that there was 3 adults and a child, unless one of these, we have a 30-year-old, a 31-year-old, and a 26-year-old. So one of these people obviously was not in the car or something. I don't understand the whole story. Or somebody mistyped because the number 2 and the number 3 are really close to each other on the keyboard, and it's quite possible that somebody hit a little typo. So, 3 arrests from the 3 people in the car. Whatever. All right. Bottom of the hour. Time to refill my coffee cup. Time to find some good music to go out with. Only because, it takes a second. That's right. We'll be right back at the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker. Don't go nowhere. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is accusing the West of cowardice. Zelensky made an exasperated plea this weekend for fighter jets and tanks to sustain a defense in Europe's biggest ground conflict since World War II. He spoke after President Joe Biden met with senior Ukrainian officials in Poland on Saturday. Zelensky says he still needs jets and other defensive weapons to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. Closer to home, authorities say wind-driven wildfires in and around Great Smoky Mountains National Park have burned hundreds of acres in western North Carolina and forced the evacuation of several homes. The fires also prompted officials to close several trails and backcountry campsites in the nation's most visited national park. The park covers more than 520,000 acres straddling the border between North Carolina and Tennessee. Crews from the National Park Service, the North Carolina Forest Service, and other agencies are working to contain the fires. Both fires were started from power lines knocked down by high winds. Many people fish in the Cape Fear River for a low-cost source of protein to feed their families. That's why a number of environmental groups, including the North Carolina Coastal Federation and Duke University Superfund Research Center, are reminding people about the possible dangers of eating fish from the Cape Fear River. They held an event yesterday at the New Hanover County Arboretum. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency lists the river as an impaired waterway. Certain types of fish in the river could contain more contaminants than others. The Oscars looked kindly on Jessica Chastain last night. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress for playing televangelist Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which was filmed in North Carolina. It's the first Oscar for Chastain in 3 nominations. She beat out fellow Best Actress nominees Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. We have a cooler day to look forward to today, but we should stay rain-free with plenty of sunshine and high temperatures today for both coastal and those inland communities. We'll get into the lower 60s. So below average temperatures will be in store for us for the first half of the work and school week. As for tonight, a dry cold front pushes into the area, knocking our temperatures down into the middle and upper 30s overnight into early Tuesday morning. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by 2 Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to 2menandatruck.com. 2menandatruck.com.
The Wilmington Cape Fear Home Builders Association serves as the advocate for the building industry, advancing professionalism and promoting community involvement. We are a positive force for responsible growth while protecting property rights and the privilege of home ownership. 3 out of every 5 jobs is touched in some manner by construction in our region. Growth generates jobs, maintains our property values, and builds and updates our infrastructure. Join us Friday mornings for the Construction Connection with the Wilmington Cape Fear Home Builders Association and the Big Talker FM.
Hi, this is Justin Humphreys from the Humphreys Law Firm on Eastwood Road. The Humphreys Law Firm is located in Lumina Station, Wilmington, North Carolina, practices civil litigation, intellectual property, commercial, and residential real estate. Please give us a call at 910-332-0721 or visit us on our website, which is www.humphreysfirm.law. You can also listen to me every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Join Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
Oh, that's a little soon. I just want to have one more spot. All right. I'm just stunned by what's happening this morning. Part of it is that it's freezing flipping cold outside. I cannot feel my toes at the moment. I can see my breath. That's kind of fun. Welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Here on the Big Talker Network, BigTalker.live. Please visit the website. Send us an email with any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, or compliments you may have. And, stay tuned throughout the day. We have, no matter who you are, we have a show you will enjoy. Whether it's all things Brunswick on Tuesday evenings, the Insane Asylum, or the Asylum, or the unequivocally adult show known as Heard Tell, heard every morning at 6 a.m. Big journalism, adults, and, real people with initials after their names that, let you know that they know what they're talking about. And then there's me. And the only reason why I have a radio show on in the morning is because I stole the radio station. And here we are. So apparently, something I was not hip to because I'm, working hard to make ends meet and trying to pay the bills and that sort of thing, that I had no idea what this Earth Hour thing was about. And apparently it's been going on for a while. The World Wrestling Federation has been involved in this. For a while. It's apparently started by not Wrestling Federation. It's the World Wildlife Fund. See, we need more letters. Or more acronyms or something, because WWF, ever since I was a little boy, when the very first UHF stations were being broadcast in analog on the, outside the primary 12 channels you could receive, WWF has always been World Wrestling Federation. Then came all the other stuff like WCW, World Championship Wrestling, and all the other crap, but I had always known it as WWF. So, when I ran across this article and it said, hey, the WWF Earth Hour, and I'm like, what does the World Wrestling Federation have to do with Earth Hour? And what the hell is Earth Hour? Oh, Earth Hour is where we turn off our lights for an hour. What? Okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit. For all y'all who seem to think that Earth Hour is something special, you're a little late to the party. Ever since I was a boy doing the Boy Scout thing, or even before that, at band camp, and before that, anyway, every day was Earth Hour Day for us. Because apparently you were supposed to turn off your lights from 8:30 to 9:30 last night, or Saturday night. What was it? Whatever. You should be in bed by 8:30. I don't know. It just... the idea and what they used it for does seem to make sense. To try and set apart, do all this climate change stuff. But it just seems like a hokey way to go about it. And I'm not really, really comfortable with hokey things going on in the world. So, the World Wrestling Federation describes the event as World Wildlife Fund describes the event as a symbol of unity and hope for a sustainable future. Earth Hour aims to increase awareness and spark global conversations on protecting nature, tackling the climate crisis, and working together to shape a brighter future for us all, as stated on the WWF Earth Hour website. So this has been going on for 15 years. The world will turn off their lights for 1 hour. It's a part of the grassroots global campaign called Earth Hour. Started in Sydney, Australia. You're supposed to turn off your lights. Oh, the Opera House, the Gateway of India, the Beijing Phoenix Center, the Brandenburg Gate, the Colosseum in Italy, the Empire State Building in the United States, and Christ the Redeemer in Brazil will turn off their lights to show support for the campaign and save themselves a few bucks. had you added that, everything about participating in the Earth Hour is all warm and fuzzy and global and climate change and all that good stuff. But the real bonus is you can save 35 cents on your electric bill by turning off your shit at 10 o'clock, or at, 8:30, by turning off your shit for an hour. How's that? So not only do you get to be part of a global movement, you're also going to save a little bit on your electricity so you can get some more bubble gum next week. How's that? Mm-hmm. Now here, for anybody living in Carolina Beach, I got one to go right in the baby maker. So Carolina Beach, in their infinite wisdom, come on, man, I want to see the website. I don't know why WAY's website is such a pain in the butt to try and operate. Oh, man. Carolina Beach needs to get twisted over this one, ladies and gentlemen, all right? You morons. Here's Carolina Beach. Decals are free for Carolina Beach residents up until, the day after tomorrow. All right. The town of Carolina Beach wants to remind residents that re-entry decals are free to town residents and property business owners through March 31st. A fee of $20 will be charged for each decal requested on or after April 1st, starting in 2022. Genius, right? I mean, these are some serious Mensa candidates that have put this idea together. Follow along the bouncing ball, kids, because it's going to get funny. Starting in 2022, Carolina Beach parking passes and re-entry decals became separate items. Parking passes, by the way, side note, parking passes don't apply to all parking. So you could buy a parking pass and still get your shit towed because you parked in a parking place that's not supported by the people that you paid to park. Genius. Absolute genius on behalf of the Carolina Beach Town Council. Absolute genius. Double the pricing from $100 to $225. So a 4-car family or a business now pays $900 instead of $400 to park in the same bombed out parking spot. And they're still not covered, meaning it may not be your parking space. You bought the parking pass, it's on your car, but you pull into a lot and you come back from surfing and your car is gone. They towed your car because you paid somebody else, not the person where you parked. There is no standard anywhere in Carolina Beach for any of this crap. And it's expensive. $25 a day, $5 an hour. If you're making $15 an hour, you're spending a third of your income just to park your car to work here. Starting in 2022, Carolina Beach parking passes and re-entry decals became separate items. Parking passes are digital, meaning they scan your license plate, whereas re-entry decals are stickers placed on a vehicle windshield. They are no longer combined. If a re-entry decal is needed, it must be obtained in addition to a parking pass. Money, money, money. Carolina Beach, man, I'm telling you what, these parking places should be platinum covered. These things should be like NASA launch pad condition. If you're going to more than double the cost of your parking rate, then damn it, you should give us something, provide something that shows us you're doing something with that money rather than pocketing the several $million you're going to make, not doing anything with it. The town wants residents to know if you have not obtained your re-entry decal yet, you can do so online at this link or in person during normal business hours at Town Hall or the parking office on Canal Drive. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Carolina Beach Town Council is in a catch-up mode, it seems. Like, they just pass a bunch, the parking. They had passed the year-round parking bill or rule or whatever before anybody had it. They just snuck it in there. And, of course, it expired on March 1st. It wasn't until the March 8th town meeting that the residents take over for 2 hours and such, forcing the town council to revote, and it still almost didn't pass. It was like 3-2. I mean, I don't know what the other two people are thinking other than, man, I could really use an extra couple $1,000s in my pocket every year from the people paying to park in this bombed-out theater of a hellhole. Parking on the street is not covered by the parking in the lots, and parking in some of the lots may not be a private lot, or it might be a city lot, or it might be a private lot that's city managed. Absolutely insane. So my recommendation, if you're not already paying $900 for your car to park on Carolina Beach, just avoid the place. Because obviously the town council isn't paying attention to what the people want, but they will respond to money. And I think it is true that we vote with our money more clearly, more effectively than we do at the ballot box. So, if Carolina Beach were to wither up and die as a result of their insane parking stuff, right? I mean, everybody whose car gets towed never returns to Carolina Beach, and their revenue descends into zero. Maybe then the town council will listen to what the town people want. And I'm hoping the town council gets replaced soon by adults who have an actual understanding of what the hell's going on. Certainly, at least in this aspect. Maybe you're doing a great job with the water and sewage and electric and everything else, but this parking thing? Nah, you're out of control, ladies and gentlemen. Completely out of control. And here's why. My theory on why Carolina Beach has lost their damn mind. Found revenue. That's the term. Found revenue. No. This isn't found. Found revenue is when you're walking down the street and, a bank robber runs by and drops a big bag of cash. That's found money. Parking. Money from parking is designed. This is a scheme, a scam, a setup, what else you want to call it? A conspiracy. And the one guy who was being a moron arguing about how he has to pay for parking in downtown Wilmington year-round. Yeah, well, downtown is a business center. Carolina Beach is a vacation center. There's a world of difference between the two, moron. Wilmington is doing everything they can to prevent an overload. Carolina Beach is needing more visitation, etc., etc. It needs more money. Not in the pockets of the town council, but in the businesses. Because I tell you what, if these businesses fail, there will be no beach. There will be no Carolina Beach. All Carolina Beach is going to be is Ramada Inns from one end of the island to the other, if this current trend continues. So, if you want this to look like the New Jersey Atlantic Beach with bodies washing up, go ahead, keep going. It's a perfect arrangement for you. Parking decals. Man, y'all done ruined that one. I'm trying to read more of the stories from the WAY website, but this website just does not load correctly, and I don't know what that's about. And it's not like I'm on some, weird computer. I'm just using a tablet. I should be able to visit the tablet or be able to visit the website and be able to read the website. I don't know if Jeff Ing is still running this thing or not, but goodness gracious, boy. Maybe you need to skip one of them little sports car races and pay attention to what's going on over here, because this is pretty... Wrightsville Beach. All right, here's one of the reasons why I have trouble with this area. Here we go. Because we're more concerned about our housing than we should be. Wrightsville Beach home on the market for $13.9 million looks to set records. Do you have a spare $10 million for a home at Wrightsville Beach? If so, that still might not be enough for the home currently on the market at One Auditorium Circle. The current listing for the home is $13.9 million, which would easily surpass the highest priced home to ever sell in New Hanover County. The record is currently held by another Wrightsville Beach property. The home at 513 South Lumina sold this past November for $6.5 million. According to Realtor.com, the home is currently the most expensive single-family home on the market in North Carolina. Bloated. That's what this is. Bloated. Now, with this $13.9 million home comes a contaminated well, contaminated with salination from the ocean and PFAS from our friends at ChemWars and DuPont. So $13.9 million is fine, but you're going to be paying a lot more for the water than you expected, because Wrightsville Beach is having to import water from the Cape Fear Public Utility Authority at a rate 5 times higher than it was just a month ago. So yeah, you better be rich rolling all up into Wrightsville Beach. And obviously, the people from Wrightsville Beach have no interest in being part of the North Carolina vibe. You're trying to bring New Jersey and Connecticut and Maryland down here. And now you're holed up in Wrightsville Beach. We should just sink it. Right? Kind of like that gag about how many lawyers on a bus going over a cliff, and you call it a good start. But that's all right. $13.9 million. This is the type of, heinous stewardship that I find to be just nauseating to the extreme. But that's okay. Just buy yourself on into the Wrightsville Beach community. For $13.9 million, you might even be an important person in our neighborhood. And if anybody watched the Oscars over the weekend, you are part of the problem. That's all there is to that. Certainly in our current climate, with everything else that's going on, the Oscars, to me, are at the very bottom of my level of concern. I find it to be less important than the insanity happening at Carolina Beach parking at the town council. I find it less important, the Oscars, to be less important to contaminants in my water here in the Cape Fear watershed. I find the insanity of this, I find it to be more important to save the lives of Ukrainians than it is to watch the Oscars or to have any reaction to it. These are people that have no connection to the real world. And for some reason, we seem to hold these people as some sort of deities. Wow. As pointed out in another Facebook post, I have needed a doctor. I have needed a plumber. I have needed an electrician, but I have never needed the opinionations of an entertainer. I don't care if it's the Dixie Chicks. I don't care who it is. If you're an entertainer, entertain, shut up, go home. You can have your opinions, that's fine, but don't expect us. There should be no more weight given to it than my own. Because that's all it is a personal opinion. The fact that you know their face from being on the screen gives them no more credibility. And I guarantee you, whoever buys that house at $13.9 million is not going to be, how would you say, part of the team That's just buying a status. And if you have $13.9 million to burn on a house in Wrightsville Beach, I tell you what, that's just irresponsible. But that's me. That's me clawing up from the bottom of this whole thing, trying to keep it all running as it is. Money, 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 money. I mean, you got $13.9 million. You could go down to the Mike Chappelle Park, skate park right now and clean that place up. I mean, there's a lot you could do with $13.9 million that would be far more responsible than participating in the insanity of Wrightsville Beach. And of course, part of me, the jaded bastard in me, wants to see that house completely wiped off the face of the earth during the first hurricane immediately after purchase. I don't want anybody hurt. I just want them to be reminded that $13.9 million is not a guarantee of happiness or stability. That Mother Earth is going to do what she does regardless of what you think. Much like science. Doesn't care what you think or believe. It simply is. Now, in the world of social science, people like me are going to throw the curve way off. So, to that end, oh, man. Oh, here's a surprising story. How's this one, guys? Surprise, a man, oh my goodness, a man arrested in Wilmington facing several drug charges. Oh my God. This has never happened before. It is capital T. Stands for trouble right here in the port city. My God, we got drugs here. We got one man arrested in Wilmington facing several drug charges. This is a surprise, ladies and gentlemen. Stop the press. This is unique. This never happens. The Wilmington Police Department stopped a vehicle for a registration violation on the 400 block of Dock Street just after 10 o'clock Friday night. After a search, officers discovered narcotics and arrested 33-year-old Jeremy Lane of Wilmington. He has been charged with PMIMSD, MDA, MDMDA, 2 counts, possession of drug paraphernalia. I don't know what that soup was, that alphabet bit. Possession with intent to manufacture something, MDMA. Drug paraphernalia, PWISD, with possession with intent to sell, distribute cocaine, felony possession of cocaine, and possession of marijuana. Lane was given $50,000 secured bond, which is more than the other 3 combined who were, abusing a child while selling and doing drugs in the car with the child. Remember the moron? Christopher ran away into the woods, got stuck in the water, had to be rescued from the very sheriff who was there to arrest his ass. Water rescue because I can't swim. Dope. $50,000 being held at the New Hanover County Sheriff's Office Detention Center. Man, that never happens here. Drugs in Wilmington? Oh my God. Can you believe that? How did that happen? Friday night, 10 o'clock, Dock Street, 400 block of Dock Street. Where does that put you at? If you're on Dock Street, does that put you about 4th Street? Yeah. But I'm turned a little sideways. I try not to go downtown anymore, but man, that's a surprise right there. I'm just ashamed of Wilmington. Can you believe that? A man was arrested in Wilmington facing several drug charges. That never happens here. Oh, look, another tap room here in Wilmington. Like, we need more drunks on the road. Genius. Why not just have drive-through drunks? It's like instead of McDonald's, why not just have drive-through? Well, we do. We have drive-through ABC, which makes sense. Get your liquor on the roll. Imbibe and ride. I mean, you're really? The first time I saw that in South Carolina, right? Went down there to do a gig, rolling with a bunch of PA in there. I wanted to stop and get a soda, and they had a little drive-through thing, and I couldn't believe it. It was like the Bear Barn. and you drive through the beer barn, and people will come to your car and load you up with all kinds of alcohol. I mean, that's not what I was there for. I was there for the Mountain Dew. But when I asked the guy, literally, like, yeah. You want to buy rum? You want to buy bourbon? You want to buy whatever? We'll load your car up. No problem. So they're encouraging drunk driving. But we're not doing anything on the punitive end of a drunk driving charge. All we do is charge money, which makes money for people, in which case, somebody is living large on the thousands and thousands of dollars any DUI charge would be. Isn't that awesome? So instead of actually, serving time or some sort of consequence for this, egregious behavior, the state of North Carolina is profiting on it. And speaking of which, why is the state of North Carolina involved in retail? I still don't understand that. Very few states in the union participate in this because it's absolutely heinous. The state of North Carolina is not in the business of making money. The state of North Carolina should be interested in the well-being of its constituents, its residents, its people. But instead, it's trying to turn a profit at the ABC store. Oh, and the ABC store, being state-run, has very strict rules on the types of art and the types of decor and the type of environment in which you can buy your alcohol. There's a limitation on advertisement and stuff like that. Really, ladies and gentlemen. So, by not paying for anything other than, state-run alcohol beverage control employees, these are state employees, by the way. Just want to remind you of that. You can have state benefits, state health, state retirement, all that. At a profit from the state of North Carolina. Thank you very much. Oh. I'm being corrected on a few items having to do with the World Wrestling Federation. The World Wildlife Fund. I get those two mixed up all the time. They share the same letters. We need more letters so we can have more initials so we can get more stupid with our stuff. You know what I mean? We have trouble with the language as it is. Why are we making it any worse? Please don't go nowhere. We'll be right back on the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Keeping Leland informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach. We wouldn't sell you a dining room table, so don't buy a medical device from a furniture store. US Med Express is Wilmington's leading supplier of golden technology lift and sleep chairs, carrying a variety of models in our showroom at 1733 Dawson Street. Our chairs lead the industry in power lift recliner features and advances in technology. Our chairs are FDA certified as medical devices, which means it's 100% tax deductible and helps with a number of medical conditions, including arthritis, poor circulation, and sleep apnea. Give us a call today at 910-500-6162 or stop by and experience our chairs for yourself at 1733 Dawson Street. That's 910-500-6162. 1733 Dawson Street in Wilmington. US Med Express.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is accusing the West of cowardice. Zelensky made an exasperated plea this weekend for fighter jets and tanks to sustain a defense in Europe's biggest ground conflict since World War II. He spoke after President Joe Biden met with senior Ukrainian officials in Poland on Saturday. Zelensky says he still needs jets and other defensive weapons to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. Closer to home, authorities say wind-driven wildfires in and around Great Smoky Mountains National Park have burned hundreds of acres in western North Carolina and forced the evacuation of several homes. The fires also prompted officials to close several trails and backcountry campsites in the nation's most visited national park. The park covers more than 520,000 acres straddling the border between North Carolina and Tennessee. Crews from the National Park Service, the North Carolina Forest Service, and other agencies are working to contain the fires. Both fires were started from power lines knocked down by high winds. Many people fish in the Cape Fear River for a low-cost source of protein to feed their families. That's why a number of environmental groups, including the North Carolina Coastal Federation and Duke University Superfund Research Center, are reminding people about the possible dangers of eating fish from the Cape Fear River. They held an event yesterday at the New Hanover County Arboretum. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency lists the river as an impaired waterway. Certain types of fish in the river could contain more contaminants than others. The Oscars looked kindly on Jessica Chastain last night. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress for playing televangelist Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which was filmed in North Carolina. It's the first Oscar for Chastain in 3 nominations. She beat out fellow Best Actress nominees Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. We have a cooler day to look forward to today, but we should stay rain-free with plenty of sunshine and high temperatures today for both coastal and those inland communities. We'll get into the lower 60s. So below average temperatures will be in store for us for the first half of the work and school week. As for tonight, a dry cold front pushes into the area, knocking our temperatures down into the middle and upper 30s overnight into early Tuesday morning. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Hey everyone, Ben Hawkins here with Cross Country Mortgage. Rates are still at historic lows, and there has never been a better time to purchase your dream home or refinance your existing. With over 300 loan products including conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, renovation, and jumbo, we are certain we have the right loan product for you and your family. Call me today to be pre-qualified to make the offer on your next dream home. 910-352-3373 or visit my website at lendwithben.com.
Hey, I'm Yael Osowski.
And I'm David Clement.
We're the host of Consumer Choice Radio, broadcasting every Saturday at 10 a.m. here on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Consumer Choice Radio is a weekly conversation featuring the latest news, interviews, and expert analysis that covers consumer topics from around the world.
ConsumerChoiceRadio.com.
Join Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
Oh, that was late. Okay. Yeah, we're all running a little late. Come on, Monday. Rise and shine. Welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Right here on the Big Talker Network. We never shut up. Don't even know where to go with that one, buddy. Thank you. That's right, rock and roll Monday morning, get it going. Face it with the breeze, face it with the, shaking fist in the air, yelling at everybody. Don't forget to visit the BigTalker.live website, BigTalker.live. I'll spell it BigTalker.live. And there's a nifty email link so you can send us any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, or compliments you may have. Plus, there's a schedule there. There's links to the iOS and Android device apps that are being completely revamped. They look gorgeous. They sound even better. And the remarkable thing, it's almost like trying to play checkers on my desk here with all the crap. I want my coffee and on my computer so I can get to them and see them and click on them and read stories and that kind of thing. So it's a little one guy, 5 computers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, 6 computers. Sorry, it's a lot of fun, you know. Now keep in mind that only one of these computers is really, really cool. Sorry, I digress. We have another amazing, groundbreaking story. Oh my God, the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office is warning of potential scams on social media. Is this possible? What has become of us? We're actually scamming each other on a social media platform? The article presented by Sidney Bouchel on WAY, Brunswick County Sheriff's Office warns of scams on social media. The Brunswick County Sheriff's Office is warning of potential scams on social media. This particular story is rather soft. You ready for this, boys and girls? The Sheriff's Office is warning people to be on the lookout for fake advertisements on Facebook. We're burning up and just burning a lot of what do they call it? Bandwidth for this. I mean, okay. Wait till we get to the end of it. I'll light y'all up. All right. Quote, a member of our staff saw a wonderful deal on a very popular and expensive brand of tennis shoe. It looked perfectly legitimate. It provided a link that went to what appeared to be the company website. It wasn't. The web address was very similar but different in a way that was hard to detect, they shared in a Facebook page. They say if you see a good deal on Facebook, don't click on links. Instead, go to the brand's website to find out if the deal is legitimate. If it looks too good to be true, it very likely is, the post reads. Okay, so that was about as wuss-wash as you could be. Scams on the internet can cost you your life. Right? So, for hundreds of years before the internet, we had this wonderful phrase in America called buyer beware. Right? And it is kind of up to us to make sure that we don't get scammed. It is illegal to scam people, yes. But it is up to us to educate ourselves on being scammed. If you've been scammed, you're not paying attention and you deserved it. Period. I know it's kind of rough, kind of harsh, but follow me on this, okay? You're in a car. Your car has a gas pedal and a brake pedal. As a driver, you are to respond to situations like stop signs, stop lights, traffic, lane change, that sort of thing. However, you're driving along and someone smashes into your car due to an issue on their part. Had you as a driver been more aware, you would not have been hit. You could move. Depending. If you walk down Crack Alley and get mugged, that was your own fault for being in Crack Alley. Unless you had a reason to be in Crack Alley, you set yourself up for that. That's nobody else's fault but your own. Same thing with this guy who got busted with a bunch of drugs. You drive around with expired plates, you are going to get pulled. If you're rolling dirty and get pulled, you're going to get arrested. These are things obvious. Apparently not. I don't know if that's part of the education program or whatever, but common sense even, which apparently we no longer possess in spades, would dictate, hey, here's a $1,000 TV on sale for $200. But we shouldn't get too aware of this, because then the $2,000 TV is going to be advertised as on sale for $1,700. Now it looks a little less like it's too good to be true. And of course, because we are humans, because we are who we are, in the way we are, If you're going to meet someone and buy something used on the internet or anything on the internet, meeting in person is, a pretty scary concept. More than once have people been robbed and shot and stabbed and whatever else doing one of these meetings, which is why police departments have these safe meeting places. Please come to the police department and do your transaction in our parking lot, so if anybody pulls a gun and tries to kill you and rob you, we won't be inconvenienced. So yeah, being aware of scams, I think it needs to go a little beyond that. We've tried to have some education on here, but part of me just wants to let it all, melt. Just melt away. Just burn it all. Just destroy it all. Part of me really hopes this $13.9 million mansion on Wrightsville Beach turns out to be a scam. That'd be awesome. That would be absolutely amazing. Ooh, no, that looked like, what's his name? Cthulhu. Huh. Ooh, I like the way this man uses some words I appreciate. Come on, give me that story. We're shifting over to Ordinary Dash Times, and I noticed an article written by a smart guy. He's got like a NASA brain. But the way he kicked off this article is just a lot of fun. So from ordinary-times.com, written by Michael Siegel, titled Mo Bitter Blues. I am Mike's total lack of surprise. I love this. This just, it's amazing. I am Mike's total lack of surprise. Quote, former President Donald Trump formally rescinded his endorsement for Representative Mo Brooks in Alabama's Senate race, calling the congressman woke for saying that Republicans should move on and look past the 2020 election. Trump had backed Brooks, one of his close congressional allies, in his failed effort to overturn his 2020 election loss early on in the race to replace retiring GOP Senator Richard Shelby. But despite Brooks' former loyalty, Trump has increasingly soured on the Alabama congressman over his poor fundraising and poll numbers, openly airing some of his frustrations in a recent interview with the Washington Examiner. Okay, so here's Mike's thing. The woke thing that Trump accuses Brooks of is at least partially an excuse. Brooks made those comments in August, and while Trump very little heresy on this. I'm not sure, there's a verb missing. And while Trump very little heresy on the subject of the 2020 election, he didn't revoke his endorsement then, no. He waited until Brooks' polling reached the nadir of a long, slow crash. It began the second he entered the race a year ago. What changed since August was that Brooks' numbers did a pretty good impression of the Russian economy as Michael Durant, a war veteran of Somalia, surged to the head of the pack in general. Trump's endorsements seem to be carrying a lot less weight this election cycle, which is one of the few signs I've seen that there may be hope for the Republican Party. Brooks, facing the end of his senatorial ambitions, had apparently decided that if he's going down, he's taking Trump with him. In recent interviews, he has claimed that Trump asked him to join a strategy to remove President Biden from the White House and install Trump, a move Brooks said, correctly, would be blatantly unconstitutional as well as backtrap crazy to boot. He's now doing interviews touting his loyalty to the Constitution, a loyalty that did not show up on January 6th when he was the first congressman to challenge the election results and spoke at the pre-riot rally. And, as Allah Pundit wisely notes, a loyalty that did not preclude him from keeping this little tidbit a secret until he had nothing left to lose. But now Mo Brooks wants credit, I guess, for doing the bare minimum necessary to not be a traitorous weasel. It's like when your boyfriend tells you some girl hit on him in the singles bar, but he totally didn't give her his number because he just loves you that much. Good comparison. While it's fun to watch Mo Brooks' fear sweat emerging. Oh, it's been so long since I've read college level English. While it's fun to watch Mo Brooks' fear sweat emerging as his campaign implodes, it's about the 9,000th reminder that loyalty to Trump is one way. That loyalty to Trump is one way. Is expected to be absolute and can be rescinded at any time. We have seen this over and over and over again. You can be the most zealous and committed supporter in the entire MAGA sphere, but if you deviate from complete support, fail to embrace the stolen election narrative, or just start looking like you're going to lose an election, Trump will happily turn on you, stab you in the back, and throw you to the wolves that live under the nearest bus. It is his nature. It is who he is. He has never been loyal to anyone or anything other than himself, and it's baffling to watch Republican after Republican get blindsided by this reality, thinking they will be the exception to the absolute rule. Boom. I need a moment. That was pretty powerful. That's almost as shocking and surprising as to find out that a man was arrested for drugs in Wilmington. It's just unbelievable, mind-bending. Just inconceivable. Holy cow. Now, this one should be fun if it'll let me load. Come on now. Apparently, I have to rearrange my room a little bit. Okay. Rob Gill posted on his Twitness. Wayne Pankratz of Applebee's says that higher gas prices are great for business because most employees live check to check, and hopefully they can start lowering wages. Ooh, oh, that's pretty heinous. I want to read the whole thing. Come on, let me in. All right. Why gas increase is good for hiring. Words of wisdom from Wayne, sent from my phone. I want to see it. Wayne, what's his name? Pankratz. Executive Director of Operations. Be great at what matters. Most of our employee base and potential employee base live paycheck to paycheck. Any increase in gas prices cuts into their disposable income. As inflation continues to climb and gas prices continue to go up, that means more hours employees will need to work to maintain their current level of living. We are no longer competing with the government when it comes to hiring. Stimulus money is no more. Supplemental unemployment is no more. This benefits us as prices rise. People who were relying on unemployment money will simply have less money to spend. It will force people back into the workforce. Furthermore, other competitors, especially mom and pop companies or smaller businesses, will have to either raise prices, cut employee hours, or pay employees less hourly to hit their profit margin. Some businesses will not be able to hold on. This is going to drive more potential employees into the hiring pool. We all competed to hire out of the limited applicant pool, and there was a wage war. We all saw businesses hiring team members at $18 to $20 an hour. They will no longer be able to afford to do this. Trucking is the backbone of America, and as fuel costs rise, so will the charges for shipping. If those costs cannot be passed on to the customer in terms of menu price, the only area they can cut sizable costs will be in labor. The labor market is about to turn in our favor. What can you do besides hiring employees in at a lower wage to decrease our labor when able? Make sure you have a pulse on the morale of your employees. Your employees that live check to check are impacted more than the people reading this email. Be conscious of that. Many will need to work more hours or get a second job. Do things to make sure you are the employer of choice. Get schedules completed early so they can plan their other jobs around yours. Most importantly, have the culture and environment that will attract people. Whoops. And I feel bad for Jaybird because I'm sitting here trying to get some of the responses from it, and everybody's responding to what happened at some silly-ass TV show a couple days ago and has absolutely nothing to do with the attempt for Applebee's. So if anybody likes the Applebee's arrangement, they really should reconsider their relationship at this point. Whew. I'm not sure I like that one. Making it difficult for me to participate in this particular operation. Therefore, I think we are going to have to fall back and punt. Still got about 5 minutes before we do that. So with that in mind, let's just find something else surprising. Craft Beer Week. Oh, that's no shortage of that here in Wilmington, North Carolina. Let's take a look at what Peyton Furtado is telling us about this last Friday. Stop, man. Your website is absolutely heinous, ladies and gentlemen. I understand the need to be pumping them and, pimping your advertisements, but blocking off the whole page so I can't read it? Come on. Friday kicks off Cape Fear Craft Beer Week with the Ultimate Brewing Championship. There's no shortage of beer in this town. Friday marks the beginning of Cape Fear Craft Beer Week, hosted by the Craft Beer Alliance. Cape Fear Craft Beer Alliance this week. The week will feature events showcasing not only beer brewed in the Cape Fear region, I hope they're not using Cape Fear River water, but also venues where craft beer marries comfortable environments, friendly conversation, and coastal cuisine in and around Wilmington. Marries? Where craft beer marries comfortable environments. I'm not sure I understand that at all. That's like some wordy words that didn't go over very well. The Ultimate Brewing Championship will be held Friday, March 25th. Thank God it's over at the East Coast Volleyball Academy. I wonder how many DUI. Oh, we already talked about that. We had some. Anyway, the wrestling-themed competition invites Cape Fear craft brewers to showcase their creativity by utilizing unusual, specific ingredients to create a custom beer in the style of their choosing. The winner was determined by People's Choice in a blind tasting. 14 local breweries were on hand with beers utilizing 28 ingredients. Only one brewer will leave with the championship belt. Tickets are $25. Cape Fear Craft and Cuisine on Saturday, April 2nd, will offer the Cape Fear region's premier food and beer pairing event. Local chefs' cuisine will be paired with both local Cape Fear and North Carolina craft beer for an elegant evening at the North Carolina Aquarium at Fort Fisher on Saturday at 7 p.m. 20 area chefs and 20 local and NC brewers will be on hand to discuss their pairings with ticket holders. Those tickets are available for $90 online. Cape Fear Craft Beer Week celebrates the Cape Fear region's thriving craft beer culture through a 10-day celebration that serves as a showcase for the Cape Fear's breweries, bottle shops, restaurants, and craft-centric businesses while attracting craft beer tourism to the area. And, of course, putting more money into the coffers from the... I wish I had somebody on the inside so I could, all right, how many DUI arrests last night? Right, because hopefully shaming these people is okay, it's good that you enjoy craft beer, but are you responsible enough to not drive in that condition. Keep in mind, North Carolina has a history of being one of the highest per capita DUI communities in the nation. So anything that encourages alcohol and automobiles in the same area is just not something I find comforting. Let's just say that. Well, that would be interesting. So this is coming out, I guess this would have been Friday after we signed off. Golden tickets hidden in New Hanover County ahead of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory show. The Wilson Center at Cape Fear Community College brings a world of pure imagination to Wilmington next month. The Wilson Center at Cape Fear Community College brings a world... Oh, they copy-paste. Ahead of the arrival of the National Broadway Tour, the Wilson Center has hidden 6 golden tickets throughout businesses in New Hanover County. The lucky finders of these golden tickets will be able to redeem them for 2 free tickets to the show. You don't get to keep it. That's pretty sad. What a perfect opportunity to get the community involved and excited about this incredible show, said Zachary Pleuer, Senior Managing Director of the Wilson Center. We are thrilled to work with several local organizations and businesses to extend the magic of Broadway out of the theater and spread the kind of joy this show promotes. Clues will be posted in the Wilson Center's Facebook and Instagram pages beginning Monday, March 28th. That's today. Golden tickets must be redeemed in person at the Wilson Center's box office located at 703 3rd Street. Please see the Wilson Center's contest page for additional rules and restrictions. Ronald Dahl's Take 2. Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the perfect recipe for a delectable treat. Songs from the original film, including Pure Imagination, The Candyman, and I've Got a Golden Ticket, alongside the toe-tapping and ear-tickling new score from the songwriters of Hairspray. There are 2 chances to catch the show as part of the PNC Broadway series at the Wilson Center, April 26th and 27th. Tickets may be purchased online at the Wilson Center or by contacting the box office. This Ticket Central is open for telephone and in-person sales from 2 to 6 Monday through Friday. They're only open 4 hours a day. Well, what kind of business is that, morons? Ticket Central may be reached by telephone. I don't know why. There's nobody going to be there. Questions can also be directed to something. Jum website decided to throw up some more ads. Tickets at wilsoncentertickets.com. Okay, so I love the original movie. I love the remake with Wilder in it. But I'm wondering, how many midgets are you going to find to go in the show? Or, since there seemed to be like this really weird offended for the purpose of being offended movement a while back, where it's like midgets and dwarves and, oh my God, that's being politically incorrect and you're being rude and whatever else. And it's like, wait a minute. The Oompa Loompas are an indispensable part of the story. They are. I mean, what are you going to substitute them with? Lemurs? And I wonder if they're going to keep those little songs. Take some advice and listen to me. Those were awesome, by the way. I thought so. Anyway. All right, bottom of the hour. When we come back, we should have our friend from Guns, Politics, and Freedom on the line with us. So, don't go nowhere. So we'll be right back on the Big Talker. Don't go nowhere. Wrong button. That.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is accusing the West of cowardice. Zelensky made an exasperated plea this weekend for fighter jets and tanks to sustain a defense in Europe's biggest ground conflict since World War II. He spoke after President Joe Biden met with senior Ukrainian officials in Poland on Saturday. Zelensky says he still needs jets and other defensive weapons to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. Closer to home, authorities say wind-driven wildfires in and around Great Smoky Mountains National Park have burned hundreds of acres in western North Carolina and forced the evacuation of several homes. The fires also prompted officials to close several trails and backcountry campsites in the nation's most visited national park. The park covers more than 520,000 acres straddling the border between North Carolina and Tennessee. Crews from the National Park Service, the North Carolina Forest Service, and other agencies are working to contain the fires. Both fires were started from power lines knocked down by high winds. Many people fish in the Cape Fear River for a low-cost source of protein to feed their families. That's why a number of environmental groups, including the North Carolina Coastal Federation and Duke University Superfund Research Center, are reminding people about the possible dangers of eating fish from the Cape Fear River. They held an event yesterday at the New Hanover County Arboretum. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency lists the river as an impaired waterway. Certain types of fish in the river could contain more contaminants than others. The Oscars looked kindly on Jessica Chastain last night. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress for playing televangelist Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which was filmed in North Carolina. It's the first Oscar for Chastain in 3 nominations. She beat out fellow Best Actress nominees Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. We have a cooler day to look forward to today, but we should stay rain-free with plenty of sunshine and high temperatures today for both coastal and those inland communities. We'll get into the lower 60s. So below average temperatures will be in store for us for the first half of the work and school week. As for tonight, a dry cold front pushes into the area, knocking our temperatures down into the middle and upper 30s overnight into early Tuesday morning. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by 2 Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to 2menandatruck.com. 2menandatruck.com.
Hi, this is Justin Humphreys from the Humphreys Law Firm on Eastwood Road. The Humphreys Law Firm is located in Lumina Station, Wilmington, North Carolina, practices civil litigation, intellectual property, commercial, and residential real estate. Please give us a call at 910-332-0721 or visit us on our website, which is www.humphreysfirm.law. You can also listen to me every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
O'Leary's Automotive Repair has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
Teachers and parents, the North Carolina Symphony is here to support you as you carry on the education of your children and students. Take your kids on a free virtual field trip to the Symphony with a virtual education concert and companion student book. Go on a virtual journey to learn what makes music music with music by William Grant Still, Beethoven, Brahms, and more. Access the free video and student book with password 1932 at ncsymphony.org/virtual.
Oh, well. Whatever. Yeah, I screwed it all up, so no guess, no nothing, whatever. So maybe next hour, because I'm in the wrong damn time zone, it seems, we will have a guest, but probably otherwise not at all. All right, so I need to close that because that's not happening. Because there is no meeting. screwed that up pretty good. So, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. The unprofessional, non-pro guy running the radio station in a stolen configuration is obviously not qualified to be sitting in this damn chair. So, if anybody wants to apply to replace me in this, please do so. I'm a professional in a completely different area of study. Tempted just to let you all run some music. I know you want me. You know I want you. I don't even know what they're doing right now. I don't even care. Playing Pitbull right now. Whatever. I don't know if you were as surprised as I was to discover that a man was arrested on drug charges this story. Oh, I thought I had ruined my time there, sir. I thought you was gone. I screwed that up because I don't even think that meeting is legit anymore, so we will try it. Let me see what I can do here. I'm not paying any attention to any of this because I'm horrible at it. Join now. Look at this. I'm getting better. Almost there. Almost there. Did I do this right? I don't think I have.
We'll just never know, probably.
I think that's you, and I don't know why you came in on that channel. That's really weird.
I don't know. You're in charge of it. You tell me.
That's what I thought. I think I know what happened, though. Crap. Ah, crap. All right. We can. I'm gonna. Okay, you're vocal only.
Oh no, that's fine. I look.
I really don't want to wake up again. I really don't. This is getting old. Because again, this is not what I do. This is not what I'm good at, and I spend most of my time trying to just keep the bills paid. And then some guy's like, you're gonna be able to buy a $13 million home on Riceville Beach, and I'm like, yeah, burn in hell.
That's not nice.
Not at all. Okay. Yeah, I totally screwed this up this morning.
All right, you're fine.
So, you were having some conversations that I tried to unpack for listeners months ago about the difference between freedom of speech and terms of service.
Yep.
Can it get any more simple, or are people just really that stupid?
If you click a box to do it, you play by the rules of everything above the box that you didn't read. That's it.
That's pretty simple.
That's it. If you clicked a box to do it, you're no longer operating under free speech.
I agree.
You're operating under contractually obligation. I said that wrong. You're operating under contractual obligation. Everybody, let's go through that one more time real slow for the folks from Logan. If you click a box to go onto a platform like Facebook, like Twitter, like Instagram, like pretty much anything online now, you're going to click that little box that says terms of use or terms of service or consent or whatever they phrase it. You are no longer operating under free speech. You're working under contractual obligation because you contractually obligated to abide by whatever set of rules those platforms had. This is not hard. The other part of this, the other major part of this is free speech is something that involves the government. No matter how big it gets, Facebook is not the government. Twitter is not the government. People are trying to make them into it. They're not. They're platforms. They are not the government. They can't stifle your free speech anyway. Is everybody on the same page with these two very simple truths?
I am, but this was pretty simple all the way around. And I don't know how it is that it became.
You would think, but nevertheless, I just this morning, Punch Bowl News. Excellent, by the way. Sign up for their free newsletter. They will give you information on Congress every morning that will make you look smarter. And it baffles my mind. They're going to have a congressional hearing with, the C- team of social media networks, Truth Social, what's the other one? Getter and Parler, and why they can't be competitive in the market. But they can't be competitive in the market because they suck. It's that simple. They suck. That's why they're non-competitive in the market.
All right, stand by. I think I pulled this off. Let's see what happens. You still there? Damn it, you were, but I can only get audio in one spot. Yeah, I screwed that up. But anyway, that was one of the things that pissed me off. The other one was the absolute complete surprise of the drug arrest here in Wilmington last night, or Friday night or something like that. Pretty amazing, I thought. I lost everybody on everything, I think. Are you still there? Syndicated quality. Nope. All right, so... All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have just ruined everything this morning. I'm going to have to start over and try again because I can't seem to get it together all the way around. So, with that in mind, let's just ruin something else this morning. For all of the thousands of listeners that are dialed in, but I can't see anything. All right, take two. I think I have Andrew with me. One more time? Nope. All right, I'm just going to all right, I tell you what.
Keeping Oak Island informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach.
Folks, we all know ongoing road construction and traffic can weigh heavy on your vehicle. Since 2006, O'Leary's Automotive Repair has provided comprehensive repair services at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. Their ASE certified technicians will help you find a cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. O'Leary's has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
I'm Rob Renz, Marine Corps veteran, entrepreneur, and local business owner. Join me and my buddies on Monday from 6 to 7 for Signal Fire Radio, where we discuss how to successfully transition from the military and become a signal fire in your community. That's Signal Fire Radio, Mondays from 6 to 7 p.m. on 106.7 The Big Talk.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is accusing the West of cowardice. Zelensky made an exasperated plea this weekend for fighter jets and tanks to sustain a defense in Europe's biggest ground conflict since World War II. He spoke after President Joe Biden met with senior Ukrainian officials in Poland on Saturday. Zelensky says he still needs jets and other defensive weapons to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. Closer to home, authorities say wind-driven wildfires in and around Great Smoky Mountains National Park have burned hundreds of acres in western North Carolina and forced the evacuation of several homes. The fires also prompted officials to close several trails and backcountry campsites in the nation's most visited national park. The park covers more than 520,000 acres straddling the border between North Carolina and Tennessee. Crews from the National Park Service, the North Carolina Forest Service, and other agencies are working to contain the fires. Both fires were started from power lines knocked down by high winds. Many people fish in the Cape Fear River for a low-cost source of protein to feed their families. That's why a number of environmental groups, including the North Carolina Coastal Federation and Duke University Superfund Research Center, are reminding people about the possible dangers of eating fish from the Cape Fear River. They held an event yesterday at the New Hanover County Arboretum. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency lists the river as an impaired waterway. Certain types of fish in the river could contain more contaminants than others. The Oscars looked kindly on Jessica Chastain last night. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress for playing televangelist Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which was filmed in North Carolina. It's the first Oscar for Chastain in 3 nominations. She beat out fellow Best Actress nominees Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. We have a cooler day to look forward to today, but we should stay rain-free with plenty of sunshine and high temperatures today for both coastal and those inland communities. We'll get into the lower 60s. So below average temperatures will be in store for us for the first half of the work and school week. As for tonight, a dry cold front pushes into the area, knocking our temperatures down into the middle and upper 30s overnight into early Tuesday morning. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by 2 Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to 2menandatruck.com. 2menandatruck.com.
This is Radio Free Dixie, and I'm Mark Allen. We often hear people complain about fake news, but fake history is just as bad. The impression that many people have about the Old South is the result of fake history. For example, have you ever wondered why it was okay for 13 American colonies to secede from England, but wrong for 13 Confederate states to secede from the United States? The truth is that both groups had a God-given right to secede and plenty of good reasons for it. If your ancestors fought for Dixie, hold your head high and defend truth and honor. That's what real men do. Join the Confederate Legion, sponsored by the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Go to MakeDixieGreatAgain.com. That's MakeDixieGreatAgain.com.
Join Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want, by asking for Big Talker. I saw you send it to me. If you want me to, I can.
There we go. I know I have music. I know I have things working. And I know I just ran.
This is a very chill groove for everything you've been going through the last 5 minutes.
I'm trying to bring my blood pressure back down. But some of these stories keep getting to me, like this unimaginable drug bust Friday night in Wilmington, North Carolina. Who would have thought?
Now, is this the dude that tried to walk on water?
No, that was the other guy. That was Christopher Deans or something like that. That was funny. Yeah, he ran off into the woods trying to get away from the police and found himself underwater, yelling for the police to come and save him.
Can we just back up for a second? You're in a coastal community. Learning to swim would seem like pretty high on the priority list for people that live in a coastal area. So before you go doing criminality, you might want to have some basic life skills like how to swim, how to run through the woods. These seems like some basic skill sets you need to produce criminality in the coastal Carolina area. Maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a criminal, but I'm just saying these are some things you might want to practice in the safety of your home before you go out and do public criminality.
Yep.
Just a thought.
I'm trying to get the WAY website to load here. The cat's name is Christopher Scott Deans, 26 years old. I'm thinking if you've been on the planet 26 years old.
Here we go. What's the rule about if you have 2 first names? Homeboy here's got 3 first names. So you know right off the bat that there's a couple problems here. One is mommy and daddy didn't think ahead before they filled out that birth certificate. Number 2 is when you've got 3 first names and you're doing some criminality, the proportion of drug use is pretty much going to be 100%.
Oh, can I hit you with another one? There's 3 people arrested. Christopher Scott Deans was one of them. The other one was Corey Dustin Harris.
Corey Dustin Harris.
3 names again.
Yeah, the rule holds up, man. Now, if the third one's a girl named Holly Michelle something, we've got the trifecta going.
No, that's Sabrina Abanzo Haynes. That was the lady in the car.
I knew there's always a woman.
Oh yeah.
There's always 2 dudes and a woman, like without
and the baby.
fail.
And there was a baby in the back seat.
Of course, there's a baby in the.
Now, I have a question for you. Christopher Scott Deans, the guy who required the water rescue, is being held.
Does this guy? Hold on. Does this guy really warrant having 3 names?
He must be important. His bond is $21,500. Corey Dustin Harris, his bond was $15,000. Now, keep in mind, the common elements among all 3 people being arrested is possession with intent, right? Selling and distributing cocaine and other drugs.
Yeah. Now, just to be clear, this ain't like they got edibles, right? They've actually got cocaine.
Yeah, they got cocaine in the possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and child abuse. Possession of drug paraphernalia,
because you cannot have
cocaine,
Yes, you cannot have you can't have drugs around the baby. Got it.
And then Corey Harris was also busted for possession of cocaine, possession with intent, and child abuse. But here's my question. Christopher is under $21,500 bond. Corey is under $15,000 bond. But the woman is under an $8,500 bond. What are they going to do? Give the child back to her?
Here's your problem. We're dealing with this. We're laughing about this case, but like in West Virginia, where the opioid crisis is just raging. In fact, I'm going to be talking to a delegate from the state of West Virginia, hopefully here in the next day or 2. Their CPS is so overloaded, they're actually shipping kids out of state because they got nowhere to put them. So
the foster care and child protective services is so overburdened from this.
Yeah, and they're actually losing kids because they can't find them because they ship them off to Pennsylvania and they can't keep track of them. That's how bad it is. The problem here is unless they're in immediate physical danger, they're not going to remove kids because the system's so overloaded. So yeah, that's going to happen. And the other problem is, until they have their first hearing where they get in front of a judge and a judge you do not automatically lose parental rights. You can have injunctive relief where the police just take the kid out and CPS makes a determination. But to actually lose your parental rights, a judge has to make that determination. So until they have the first hearing or they have a CPS hearing with a family court judge and the judge strips them of the parental rights, they still have their parental rights unless it's an acute, immediate harm to the child kind of thing. That's just the way it works, and that sucks, but that's how it is.
And that's definitely a downside to the issues that keep popping up. We've had these articles and conversations more than once. And it's painful.
It's painful because stupidity is painful.
And it should be, but not to the rest of the people or to the children. But that's
what am I always saying when we talk about the opioid crisis? Because you get these idiots that are like, they're just no. These people have these people are bombs with blast radiuses. And their addiction issues and their opioid issues and the criminality and health and systemic issues that come out of their problems have a blast radius that catch up everything around them. That's why you have to deal with these problems as a society.
And trying to work with the fine
they make
line.
The damage is done to a lot of people. So unless you realize that these are bombs going off in our communities that have a blast radius, you're never going to solve the problem.
And that's going to be one of the side effects beyond the criminality of drug possession, drug use. That blast radius, of course, is going to be affected whether or not the laws are in place to help these people or to condemn them.
Correct.
And that's not really helping anyone on any side of the equation.
Correct.
And that's why I was so shocked to see, over the weekend, 2 drug arrests in our area. It's not like our helping has done much. I'm guessing, and that's where last night, while working on the studio and doing some other editing, I ran across a story that broke my heart that I know is a bit of what you're going through. 38-year-old veteran Marine from Afghanistan has recently passed away as a result of cancer that had metastasized throughout her body to a stage 4 before she was diagnosed as a result of being in Afghanistan, as a result of the disposal fires that were being handled on a daily basis. And
yeah.
I understand you were a part of that, and that's got to be, I mean, like you, her story involved a lot of this. What do I have to do to prove to the VA hospital that I'm not trying to milk the system? I just don't want to die.
Without, because I don't want to get into my own stuff too much here, but the problem with the burn pits is they don't even know how much damage that stuff does. They just changed it to where there's a list of very specific, very rare cancers that have to come from that, because there's just no other explanation for 20, 30, 40-year-old people having those cancers.
Yep.
So those are going to start getting fast tracked. So they're doing some things, but like, I've had debilitating, literally, you've seen me try to get out of a chair on a bad day, right? Like, we're doing radio, but you've seen me on a semi bad day, right, man? It's not fun watching me move around sometimes, right?
It's heartbreaking.
Did some of the medical issues I have either caused by, or because some of them, we know some of it, were they exacerbated by the burn pits? I don't know. I would like the opportunity to pursue that medically and to find out, and everybody else has a right to pursue that. We talked about this when Biden brought it up at the State of the Union.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if his son's brain cancer was caused by the burn pit. Nobody else does either. He should have a right to pursue that through the VA system, through the claim system, to find out whether it did or not, just like everybody else should. And the problem with the burn pit stuff is, until they get it properly coded in the system, which they're working on, we've all got letters in our. If you were around a burn pit, you should have a letter in your permanent record now, which I have one. I've got one from Blood Anaconda. I've got it in my file, but that in the file doesn't. That in 550 will give me a cup of coffee at Starbucks, which I also can't drink because of my health issues. Like that, this all goes together. Like, they've got to get it coded so these people can get fast track treatment. When you get stage 4 lung cancer from this stuff, or whatever the cancer was, you can't wait 2 years to get it through the system. You need relief now. You need your medical care now. That's the problem. The diseases that this causes moves way faster than it took me various levels. I got my 30, and then I got my 70, then I got my 90, and then I got upgraded to my 100. Like, the full process of that took like 6 years. And these people that are sick, and I never had one appointment where they ever challenged anything medically. Like, they never, like, I'd had medical appointments that would last 4 minutes. I'd walk in, they're like, yeah, pull your shirt up, show me all the surgical scars. Pull my shirt up, I look like a freaking jigsaw puzzle. They're like, oh yeah, you're right. You had this surgery, this surgery, this surgery. Yep, here you go. That'd be a 4-minute appointment, and then you wait 2 years to try to get it through the system that you had the appointment. That's the kind of stuff that's got to get changed.
And that's probably paralleled in the private sector as well, because there does seem to be a lot of money changing hands, but not a lot of conversation as to, why do you need a specialist, or why do you need a referral? We don't believe you, that sort of thing. And that's just
well, because the bureau, and it's not people. There's some malicious people out there, but for the most part, it's just people that are chewed up by the system, and they can't. The system is so bureaucratic.
Yep.
And it's so entrenched.
And it requires codes and paper.
The system is built to perpetuate the system. The system is not built to take care of the veterans. It's a lot like what I've said about the education system. We want to treat the VA like it's this magical reading time rug at the kindergarten where everything's great and everything works, and it's this great altruistic thing, and it's not. It's the DMV. The only problem is the DMV usually doesn't kill people. The VA does. Now, the VA does lots of good work. The VA has improved vast things. The mental health care is night and day better than what it was 10 years ago. Like, it's not even comparable how much better it is. So I don't want to act like it's just this eternal hellhole that never improves. But it's the DMV. Like, once every 10 years, they figure out how to make the line work better. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah. Just to get you in the door, not necessarily the care.
It's like the education system. It's like the criminal justice system. We want to have this idealized view of what it does. Oh, we're taking care of our veterans. Look at the dollar sign amount. But that doesn't matter if you're not actually taking care of the vets. It is a giant jobs program. It is the biggest integrated healthcare system in America. And you need all that infrastructure to take care of only 9 million veterans, which is only half of them, by the way, that are actually in the medical system. 9 million, the entire VA system, the largest integrated hospital system in America, taxpayer funded to take care of 9 million people. There's 330 million people in America. Think of the ratio scale there.
And there's at least one VA in every major city.
It's bloated. It's bureaucratic. It is designed for another century. And you just flooded it because of the war on terror and Afghanistan and Iraq. We've just flooded it. Two things happened to the VA in the last 20, 30 years that have really made it tough. One is all the new veterans, because people forget the cuts in the military during the Clinton years. Like, the military got cut way down in the 90s. And then it got ramped way up after 2001 when 9/11 happened. So you have this massive influx of young veterans. Why is that important? Because these are people that are going to be in the system for 40, 50, 60 years. These aren't people that show up for 2 appointments and leave. They are in the system. They are in the care of the government for the next 50 years. Massive. And that's why they fight these benefits so hard when you're in your 20s and 30s. If you got a permanent disability, there's some numbers cruncher looking at you as a 50-year liability on their spreadsheet. That's just the fact of it. And the second thing that happened was all the Vietnam-era vets and the Boomer vets and the Cold War warrior vets, they all started getting old and they had never applied for their benefits. So when the 9/11 thing happened and the benefits changed and the benefits got ramped up, they all came flooding in trying to get their benefits because they're getting up there in age, and I don't blame them a bit. Those two things happen in concurrency, and the weight of a VA system that has been neglected and patted on the head and treated like a potted plant to just bureaucratically grow without actually innovating or changing or growing as it should have, it's created a god-awful mess. But nobody wants to talk about it, and you're not going to fix it by every president in my lifetime is going to say we're going to fix the VA, and none of them are ever going to do it because it has to be fixed bureaucratically. It has to be fixed from within, and there's no willpower to do it.
Of that structure, how many of the people on salary are actually medically
like
involved?
11%. I think it's like 11 or 12%.
Of the whole system, 11% are medically
Now
trained.
remember, the VA is not just the healthcare system. The VA is the benefit system. It's the third largest department of government.
Wow.
Excuse me, it's the second largest department of government after the DOD. It's Veteran Affairs. And then it's bigger than the next two, which is Homeland Security and Commerce combined.
So, obviously, it's well-funded and held in high esteem, but still has a few, cracks and things that need to be addressed. Kind of like, taking care of a car. You got to change
It's a lot like the education system. It's a huge federal jobs program. How are you ever going to reform it? When you've got a situation like they had in South Carolina where a dude was a VA employee, robbed a bank, did his prison term, and then by law the union got him his job back because he robbed the bank off duty, which means he wasn't technically an employee. That's how tight they've got the union regulations now.
Wow.
They made the VA give him his job back. When you've got crap like that going on, when you've got doctors, you can't get good doctors in the VA system because the pay's laughable compared to what they're making.
Yep.
Like I had a doctor straight tell me, just a doctor that I know personally because of, interpersonal relationships. They're like, their yearly salary is what my quarterly bonus was.
And I think that may have been part of what, because my dad was a doctor at the VA hospital for over 40 years before.
Now, there's good ones there, but they're either there because they see it as a calling, and there's a lot of them to do it, and God bless them. There's a lot of them there that see it as a calling. It's their retirement job. They just want to make a difference. My PA, my primary care provider, he's a former military officer, went and became a PA just so he could work in the VA system and help people. Love that dude.
That's
Love
hardcore.
There's people like that. He's an old special forces guy. When he retired, he didn't know what to do. He's like, screw it, I'm going to go PA school and go work at the VA, and that's what he does. Like, you have people like that in the VA system, and that's the only thing keeping that thing running. And I don't mean running the bureaucracy. I mean keeping people cared for. There's people like that. And they have, I had an ER doc one time, great doctor. He's like, this is my retirement job. I just wanted to make a difference.
And I
You know,
think
stuff like, you get people like that in the system, or you get what you have at Durham's VA, where you're across the street from Duke and you get all the Duke doctors and nurses and PAs and medical people because they're up in their standards. So you get really high quality medical people. But outside of that, they have a massive shortage. You end up with folks that either can't work anywhere else or whatever, you know, and I don't want to disparage anybody. I really don't, but it just is what it is. People that, you know, don't have anywhere else to go or can't get a job anywhere else, or they want a government job because it's, you know, guaranteed money. Whatever the case may be, that's what you wind up with.
And it's going to go further away from the care and further into the bucket of money.
Yep.
And that's sort of, you know, the shiny object in the room that would be distracting to anybody.
Like all bureaucracies, they spend all the money on the wrong things. They need to spend money on getting top-level doctors and administrators. They need to spend money on the actual... like, they built the HCC in Fayetteville, an $890 million building, and the intercom hasn't worked since day one. The public address intercom has never worked in that building from day one. It's an $890 million building.
But it's a hospital.
Well, it's outpatient. I mean, it's.
But you still need
not,
to like reach a doctor. Hey, you know, code blue or something like that. You
still need how do you screw up an intercom?
And
like
how long the building been?
We've had intercoms for 150 years. Like, what are you doing?
Two cans on a string, something.
Like the Wi-Fi doesn't work right in there.
And how long has this building been up?
It's 5-6 years now.
Wow.
They're getting ready to build a big one in Jacksonville. Between Jacksonville and Wilmington somewhere. They're still debating where the site's going to be, but they're going to build an HCC based off the Fayetteville one. They're going to build one somewhere around the Jacksonville-Wilmington area.
Wait, so they're going to basically take one failure and duplicate it?
But it's not a failure. The reason it's a failure is because of the way it's administrated. The plan's fine because you got all these Jacksonville people that have to either go to Raleigh or Fayetteville, one or the other. We need to put one down there.
That makes sense. I'm with that. But as far as like, they're going to, you know, basically duplicate the building that's problematic here.
But there's nothing wrong with the building. It was the execution.
Oh, okay. I'm with you now.
Bringing it online, because once the builder built it, the bureaucrats that are running it didn't have a freaking clue what they were doing.
So they have a Mattel Electronics
and right now, the one I'm really paying attention to is they've got this insane idea that they're going to close Durham, the Durham VA hospital, and they're going to close the Fayette VA hospital, and they're going to combine them somewhere around like somewhere between Cary and Sanford, and they're going to combine them. That's the dumbest freaking thing I've ever heard in my life.
That does sound kind of counterproductive.
It's such a bad idea because, number one, the reason Durham's great, Durham saved my life. I've told this story before. If I hadn't got to the Durham VA and gotten a Duke surgeon, I'd be dead right now. I wouldn't even be alive. So if you move it out of Durham, which the building's terrible, I get it. I've taken the picture from the roof of the garage across the street. I'm like, I'll pan over to Duke Hospital. I'm like, here's a world-class hospital, world-class doctor, the best medical care money can buy. And I'll pan to the right and like, we're going to go over here for healthcare, and it's the VA building, which is a little harsh, but that's the way it is. If you lose that hookup with all the Duke doctors and Duke nurses and Duke medical folks, that's going to be a huge detriment. Yeah, man.
Well, now it could be a good idea depending on how much money is involved. So we haven't answered that part of the equation.
No,
but if there's a lot of money involved,
but no, see, you just did it though. It's all backwards. They're doing it for the money,
right?
And then we'll see how the healthcare shakes out. Like, no,
that's how America works.
Do the healthcare, but the VA, the problem ain't the money. They've got money. They're not a private entity,
right?
That's why this is so ass backwards. They have all the money in the world. They're just going to go spend more money. It's like the education system. I hate to compare it, but that's exactly what it is. They're going to dump all this money into it because we have to educate the children, but they don't actually put any money towards educating the children. It all goes to all this superfluous nonsense.
Right, in which case we need more superfluous people.
A big building with a lot of money involved gets the executives promoted, but it doesn't do crap to actually provide health care to anybody if it's not properly administered.
Exactly. You win.
I'd rather go to a crap building and get good health care.
Yeah. But that's not how the
I don't need to go to a
20
shiny. I don't need to go to a shiny building and get crap health care.
That's not how the 21st
But that's what
century optics work.
But that's what they're pitching me.
Right.
They're not only pitching at me, they want me to pat them on the back for having done it.
For doing such a wonderful job.
No, screw you. I can read.
And
I've had to deal with your stupid doctors who don't want to do their job. I've had to deal with your call centers who don't give a crap about anybody, that we're sitting out here dying while you're sitting there playing your Sudoku puzzle instead of clearing our files. I'm over it.
And
don't give me shiny toys and tell me you're caring for me. I'm not a friggin' child. We got people dying out here, and all you want to do is build buildings and make your budget look good so that you can get your next GS promotion. Screw you.
That's sort of the design. Because again, the
No,
design is built
because the
on, is
VA
built on your back.
VA is
even though
not a
it's-
medical. That's
No.
what I'm telling you. That's why I started with it. The VA is not a medical system. The VA is the freaking DMV, but they put veteran on top of it so they get extra money.
Just like they do
But
on
that's
those
how
car
in
sales.
practicality it's treated. Yes.
And that's one of the things that sort of adds to the angst of the whole thing, is that under all the shiny rhetoric and wordy words, we don't get a chance to meet the people to whom these services are focused, right? So it's not until we get to actually, because a lot of people in the general public aren't going to have, like you said, there's 9 million in the system out of 330. That's what, less than 1/3 of 1%. So for the rest of the United States who hear, VA, most of the time they're just going to hear it as, as effective or whatever, as another term like DHS or DOD or something like that. They just see
just
it,
another three-letter organization.
Exactly, that it's not as, it is its own entity and is probably much better environment than, where I go for my health care on a private plan or something like that. They don't understand that the Veterans Administration process is pretty much the same olive drab that they were in when they were in the service.
And now you got me upset.
I'm sorry. But at least, neither of us got arrested for the, getting lost in a lake. There was a conversation on your website, ordinary-times.com, to which you are the managing editor. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I mean, do you have to manage these people?
Means I do all the work nobody else wants to.
But it was the Mo Bitter Blues from your friend Dr. Siegel, which seemed to be something
Isn't
of
that a great
pivot.
piece?
Oh, the writing is absolutely
He's
joyful.
great. I love him.
It's great.
He was reveling in his subject matter like a pig in slop.
Oh man. So I'm guessing his understanding of how this thing is going with Mr. Brooks is probably not as encouraging as he would expect. Am I missing, or I'm not
Brooks
sure.
Brooks is an insipidous moron.
Who's trying to chameleonize as the environment?
He was
changes.
trying to hump Donald Trump's leg into a Senate spot.
And that didn't work.
And it's not working. He's going to lose badly, and Trump's realizing he's going to lose badly, and because he endorsed him so early, which is stupid, by the way. When you do a political endorsement, if you're the biggest endorsement, you wait till the end to endorse to push you over the top. You don't do it in the beginning, because then nobody cares by the time it's time to go vote.
It's kind of
So
like
Trump,
playing your hit song at the beginning of the concert.
Yeah, the Eagles don't play Hotel California to open up, except when they did the TV special, because they didn't know if the TV special would do well, and they made them do that. If you ever go hear the story on the comeback tour, they're like, no, you have to play Hotel California first.
Yep.
Like that kind of crap. Anyway, and they negotiated it, and they ended up playing Get Over It. I think it was Get Over It first, didn't they? I think they ended up doing Get Over It first, and that was the end joke. I forget the whole story. Anywho, the issue at hand here is Trump's turned on him and said, well, he's a loser and I'm going to rescind my endorsement. So now Brooks is trying to spill all the tea about all the crap on Donald Trump, which, by the way, we already all know that. None of this is new. If you can read, you knew all this was already happening. But Michael had that great line in there. It's like just watching him stress sweat.
It took me a second because I thought there was a verb missing,
Oh
and then I
my
had to read it
God.
again, and it was like, there we are.
Yeah, it's just you don't glory in the downfall of others, but I can glory in people who start to have to snuggle in the covers of the bed that they made, and that's what's going on there.
And the use of nadir, which is actually an astronomical term, the point on
Well,
the
he is an
celestial sphere.
astrophysicist.
Exactly. Because this is what really got me is that, here he is, he and his wife being brilliant in science and space and medicine and stuff, and he's so ingrained that he has the vocabulary so ingrained in him that nadir, which is the point on a celestial sphere directly
See, I thought it was
below.
Nadar, but maybe I'm just a hick.
Well, it's nadir on both of them. Emphasis on the first. It's the point on the celestial sphere directly below the observer. But the concept is the lowest point. So when he's using it in the term, or in the phrase, where'd it go? No, he waited until Brooks' polling reached the nadir of the long, slow crash. It began the second he entered the race a year ago.
That's just fantastic.
It is.
writing. I love that guy so much.
So I have to send kudos twice that he was able to write such a wonderful piece that's almost prose in its approach.
We will try to get him on the show with you so you can ask him about this directly at some point.
Oh yeah.
So
I hope he
All
can
right, buddy.
tolerate the
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta do some stuff. We'll talk to you soon.
Dude, it was great to have you on the show, and I will see you in the next few days. Again, Heard Tell every morning at 6 a.m. from this man. Hosted, produced, directed, and what else? Written, produced.
Wardrobe,
Wardrobe?
makeup, hair.
Yeah. All that,
good
one-man band, 6 o'clock every morning. Heard twice on Sunday. The interviews extracted from the week's shows into a 1-hour program on Sunday at 8 and 2. I'm getting better at this, so...
Another month or two, we'll have a radio guy out of you. Take care, buddy. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
In the morning, man. Or tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Thanks, man. All right, so with that in mind, what we should do is, well, pivot. Ooh, that almost made noise. That was close. I'm getting better. We're getting better. Trying to. There we go. Bing, ding. Look at that. A little bit of help there. But yes, having it's just too much fun. You got to read it. Ordinary-times.com. The article is Mo Bitter Blues. It's written with such, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like when somebody has such a good command of their subject or of their language, of their communication skills, that their delivery has this type of barbed vibe to it. That he's able to make his point, but he's able to relate that point at such a visceral level that it's humorous almost. Painfully humorous, right? At least that would be one of the takes on it all. We skipped one break, so what I'm going to do is make up that break and see if we can't get back on track here in just a moment. Oh, that's not the song I wanted. Here, it's music. It's that one I want. Whoops. Because I screwed it all up earlier, now we're back on track. All right. Resetting one more time. We'll be back on the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Please don't go nowhere. Don't go.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is accusing the West of cowardice. Zelensky made an exasperated plea this weekend for fighter jets and tanks to sustain a defense in Europe's biggest ground conflict since World War II. He spoke after President Joe Biden met with senior Ukrainian officials in Poland on Saturday. Zelensky says he still needs jets and other defensive weapons to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. Closer to home, authorities say wind-driven wildfires in and around Great Smoky Mountains National Park have burned hundreds of acres in western North Carolina and forced the evacuation of several homes. The fires also prompted officials to close several trails and backcountry campsites in the nation's most visited national park. The park covers more than 520,000 acres straddling the border between North Carolina and Tennessee. Crews from the National Park Service, the North Carolina Forest Service, and other agencies are working to contain the fires. Both fires were started from power lines knocked down by high winds. Many people fish in the Cape Fear River for a low-cost source of protein to feed their families. That's why a number of environmental groups, including the North Carolina Coastal Federation and Duke University Superfund Research Center, are reminding people about the possible dangers of eating fish from the Cape Fear River. They held an event yesterday at the New Hanover County Arboretum. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency lists the river as an impaired waterway. Certain types of fish in the river could contain more contaminants than others. The Oscars looked kindly on Jessica Chastain last night. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress for playing televangelist Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which was filmed in North Carolina. It's the first Oscar for Chastain in 3 nominations. She beat out fellow Best Actress nominees Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart. For more on these stories, head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. We have a cooler day to look forward to today, but we should stay rain-free with plenty of sunshine and high temperatures today for both coastal and those inland communities. We'll get into the lower 60s. So below average temperatures will be in store for us for the first half of the work and school week. As for tonight, a dry cold front pushes into the area, knocking our temperatures down into the middle and upper 30s overnight into early Tuesday morning. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by 2 Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to 2menandatruck.com. 2menandatruck.com.
Hey everyone, Ben Hawkins here with Cross Country Mortgage. Rates are still at historic lows, and there has never been a better time to purchase your dream home or refinance your existing. With over 300 loan products including conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, renovation, and jumbo, we are certain we have the right loan product for you and your family. Call me today to be pre-qualified to make the offer on your next dream home. 910-352-3373 or visit my website at lendwithben.com.
Get all your sports action with Tanner Barth on WWAY.
Let's get things started with our full court press matchup of the week.
From the full court press to the 5th quarter and everything in between.
And they say if some is good, more is better this time.
We've got your sports world covered all around the Cape Fear.
Check out the save from the captain, full extension.
This is the place for your sports coverage. WWAY.
Hi, this is Justin Humphreys from the Humphreys Law Firm on Eastwood Road. Tune in Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. for Objection to the Form, covering civil litigation, real estate issues, and intellectual property. That's Objection to the Form, Thursdays 6 to 7 p.m. right here on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
Hey, welcome back to the Big Talker.live. You are now in the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. That's right. It's been a Monday, quite the Monday actually. Having fun with that. So if you thought jumping an hour ahead was problematic, it's just getting started. It's Monday, which changes things for a number of people. Here in a bit, we're going to have a guest from the Guns, Politics, Freedom Show, another fantastic chunk of content from thebigtalker.com. It premieres every Saturday at 1 in the afternoon. Look forward to and if you need more information, you can visit the bigtalker.live website. Take a look at our schedule so you can see when it airs again. It also has our, oh, look at that. Something almost happened. May have to do it this way. Let's try it this way. So if I've done this right, here in just a moment, we are going to have the magical arrangement.
Hello.
There it is. That's our friend Paul Valone from the show Guns, Politics, and Freedom that premieres every Saturday at 1 in the afternoon. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Good, good. I'm up. We got coffee. We got most of the problems straightened out. The mess has already been made. So we have cleared the way for the last half hour of the program to be absolutely perfect, and, the red carpet is out for you.
Well, there we go.
Even though I did come into you about an hour early.
8:30, 9:30, close enough. But I know I wouldn't have scheduled for 8:30 because I don't schedule anything that early. I'm retired now.
Well, I had to push my clock ahead an hour, and that may have done it to me. So
there you go.
So your show this week, who do you have? What do you?
Well, what I've got first off, I want to discuss something that we are having on April 9th. This is an event to raise money for our Political Action Committee in order to elect pro-gun candidates in the 2022 elections. Of course, we, Grassroots North Carolina, as a nonprofit organization, cannot use membership money to impact elections. That's prohibited by the IRS in order for us to get tax-exempt status.
I see.
Now, that forces us, and this is, typical of all political nonprofits, that forces us to create a separate checking account, if you will, which is a Political Action Committee. And that Political Action Committee, we have to raise money separately for it, and that's what allows us to go throw the bums out. So, every year we run a variety of things. We're raffling off an AR-15 right now, our politically incorrect raffle. And
I like
we
that.
also, we've had some wonderful raffles. Matter of fact, the classic one that was in 2016 when we had the Hillary Clinton special. We raffled off an AR-15, 1,000 rounds of ammunition, and a framed portrait of Hillary Clinton. The byline for the raffle was, "We're not telling you what to do with the portrait, but we do understand that the last time we put Hillary on the front of our newsletter, she was very popular at the range." That, I'm happy to say, caused the lefties to claim, wrongly, that we were threatening Hillary, and the news picked it up and it went viral. We were selling thousands and thousands of tickets, some to people in countries where they can't even own AR-15s. It was that popular.
I was going to say
it also got us. It also got us a half-hearted visit from the Secret Service.
Oh,
because somebody complained.
Did they bring donuts?
And, well, no, but they did say, if this had originated in, I think it was the Charlotte office, we wouldn't have bothered, but this came from on high, so we have to do something. So we went through the whole thing. They determined we weren't threatening anybody. And as the one of the Secret Service agents was getting ready to leave, he goes, "By the way, is your organization law enforcement friendly?" And I said, "Of course." And he goes, "Hypothetically speaking, how does one join your organization?"
How many raffle tickets did he walk out with? That's a great gag, man.
What you have to understand is the Secret Service never really much liked Hillary anyways. They, they give them all a code name, the presidents and the first ladies. Do you know what hers was?
Dodo?
Broomstick 1. Broomstick
Wow.
1. Anyway.
Do they know that? Do they know their own nicknames?
I don't. Some must. I can't imagine
that's
that they
hilarious.
wouldn't, but, anyways, so this year, in addition to the raffle, we are holding a steel plate match. This is a match where we set up a few steel plates and people come with a handgun and knock them down as fast as they can. You don't have to be an experienced shooter. We'll give you everything you need. And in fact, somebody shows up and they want to borrow handguns and buy ammunition, they can do that. But we're calling this event Ring Steel for Freedom. And I'm happy to say that headlining the event, we have Congressman Ted Budd. Now, you may know that Ted Budd is probably the most pro-Second Amendment, matter of fact, certainly the most pro-Second Amendment candidate in the race for the Republican nomination for the U.S. Senate. because, of course, Richard Burr is retiring, leaving an open seat. And so now everybody's scrambling. The three main candidates, there are quite a number actually all told, but the three main Republican candidates for that nomination are Ted Budd, Pat McCrory, and Mark Walker. Now, I don't have anything against Mark Walker. I just don't think he is as committed to preserving our freedoms as Ted Budd is. And Pat McCrory is a rhino of the first order. Do I have to define? I'll define that for your listeners. Rhino is Republican in name only. Okay.
He was also in office when the Vertex rail car situation unfolded in our community.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which became a Chinese spy ring and turned into a $45 million lawsuit, bankruptcy lawsuit against the guy. And the 1,300 jobs that were promised never materialized. So I'm not a big fan of bringing somebody back after something like that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, McCrory also didn't do gun owners any favors, because we had an omnibus gun bill that improved a number of things. And among other things, it repealed our Jim Crow-era pistol purchase permit law, which would then require background checks for gun purchases to be done at the point of sale. Rather than having sheriffs decide that they just don't want to issue pistol purchase permits like Gerald Baker did at the beginning of the pandemic in Wake County. So we got legislation through the North Carolina House, and actually we got it through the Senate, and the House version was slightly different. And so that's when Pat McCrory weighed in and said that if the bill contained the purchase permit repeal, he would veto it. And so then Speaker Tom Tillis, now United States Senator, refused to vote to concur, and instead they were going to take it into the conference committee, and the bill nearly died. But when it did ultimately pass, it passed without the purchase permit repeal, which is why during the beginning of the pandemic, and we now have various, and of course we've had a big surge in gun buying over the last 2 years, thanks to the civil unrest and everything else. So we've got Gary McFadden, the sheriff of Mecklenburg County, Gerald Baker, the sheriff of Wake County, and Rogers, I forget his first name, the sheriff of Guilford County, and also the sheriff out here in Buncombe County, all slow-walking permits, and people are unable to buy a handgun in the state of North Carolina without either a concealed handgun permit or a pistol purchase permit. So this problem can be laid at the doorstep of Pat McCrory. So,
wow.
Pat is not gun owners' biggest friend. At any rate, so Ted Budd is the odds-on favorite. As a matter of fact, this I forgot where it is, but later in the day after our event, Donald Trump is going to come in and endorse Ted Budd as well. So Budd has the endorsement of Donald Trump and also the Club for Growth, which is a freedom-loving capitalist organization. So we're going to have Ted Budd. We're going to have Mark Robinson, Lieutenant Governor, who has graciously agreed to join us at our Ring Steel for Freedom event. We are going to have a number of other candidates. We're going to have actually Congressman Dan Bishop. And then we're also going to have some candidates for the North Carolina Supreme Court and North Carolina Court of Appeals. Judge Richard Dietz will be there, Judge Michael Statting, and perhaps some others. Because as I think we talked about last week, the judicial races are essential in North Carolina in order to prevent the left from manipulating political districts and manipulating the elections to their own advantage. So that's going to be at noon.
It's at the Hyatt Farms, it looks like.
Yes, exactly right. Matter of fact, registration starts at 10:30. The luncheon starts at 11:30, and the speakers start at noon and run until 1 o'clock. We've got to change the dates on the website. That's going to be done later today.
Oh, okay.
Because we had to move everything earlier because of the Trump event. The Donald didn't do us any favors on that one, but all the candidates are still going to be there. We just moved it up earlier. That's all we did. So basically, they can go find out how to buy tickets and other details about the event at grnc.org, grnc.org, and they'll see right on the front of our homepage, there's a flyer about the event that leads, just click on that, and it'll take you right to the sign up so you can buy tickets for it. Again, every time.
I love this picture. It's the politically incorrect AR-15 with reticle.
Yep, absolutely. We always run somewhat politically. It's the Let's Go Brandon raffle this time.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that too. Both of those events are being done to raise money to elect pro-Second Amendment candidates across the state of North Carolina.
And you're having barbecue.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Hyatt Farms. It's out there in Polkton, which is about an hour east of Charlotte, probably about 2 hours out of Greensboro, and probably about 2.5 hours out of Raleigh. Unfortunately, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. But I think Larry Hyatt did that because, frankly,
that's where you can fire a gun.
That's the way North Carolina is developing right now. We wind up with all these battles of people that build McMansions in the countryside and then decide that they don't like the idea that people are shooting guns out there, that even though the people have been shooting guns since long before they built the McMansion.
In fact, it was those guns that made sure that America, didn't have to drink tea every morning.
You got that right.
I
so
think
anyways...
the Tar Heels and the Minutemen and all that stuff all came from right here in North Carolina.
Yep.
That's where them guns came from.
A lot of that history is out your way, too, eastern North Carolina. Absolutely. But in any case, so once again, grnc.org. Please come and buy tickets because and join us on Saturday at, as I say, luncheon starts about 11:30. The speakers will run from about 12 to 1. And then shortly thereafter, we will shoot the steel plate match. And again, no experience is required to shoot the steel plate match. As long as you know, basically how to fire a handgun, we'll set you up and.
Plenty of experience there to help guide you.
Absolutely.
Now, I do have a question.
Experienced range officers. Mm-hmm.
I have a question about your, I guess it's been a couple of months now, the Massachusetts carpetbaggers trying to subvert the North Carolina elections.
Yes, indeed.
That seems to be undervalued or not spoken about. What's going on with that?
I'm happy to say they failed.
Oh, good.
The idea here was that they pulled up a phrase out of I believe it was the 14th Amendment that was originally designed to prevent those who had the Confederates from holding public office after the war between the states. And so they took this language and they tried to apply it to Madison Cawthorn, who, of course, is representing North Carolina as a congressman in the 11th District. Their rationale for this was that he fomented insurrection. And what did he do? He spoke with Donald Trump on January 6th, okay, at the Ellipse in Washington. Had nothing to do with the unrest afterwards, the breaching of the Capitol or anything else, which is an entirely different place. But merely the fact that he spoke and addressed the audience that day, they tried to sue him to prevent his candidacy, to prevent him from running again. But this, of course, is all a part of what the left is doing, which is manipulating the court system in order to overturn the will of voters and manipulate the elections in order to create a lock on power for the left. This is what they've done with the redistricting lawsuits. This is what they've done with lawsuits against voter ID laws. We have a voter ID law that was approved by the voters as a ballot initiative in North Carolina, yet ID is still not required because they continue to fight this thing, and we're under an injunction, and the voter ID requirement has never been instituted, despite the fact that it was popularly voted on by the people of North Carolina. So unfortunately, that's the funniest part about this Madison Cawthorn thing is that the media love to portray it as voters of North Carolina, objected to Madison Cawthorn's candidacy, yada yada. Well, they found two, people from North Carolina to file this lawsuit because we need a couple of people to have standing. Okay, people who are actually harmed by the supposed action of this individual. If you don't have legal standing, you can't sue somebody. So the Massachusetts people, this left-wing organization out of Massachusetts had no standing. So they recruited a couple of people from North Carolina. Yet every time you see it on WRAL News or the News and Observer or wherever, it's the voters of North Carolina. Yet both of them. So
hey, plural is the only requirement for plurality is two.
Yeah, I guess so.
So as long as we're, using the English language, that's legit. But
yep. But I'm happy to say their lawsuit failed.
Well, then.
Madison Cawthorn will be on the ballot this time around, and that's going to be a rather hot race over here in the 11th congressional district. There's shaping up to be quite a number of candidates running, including one we're kind of eyeing as a good candidate, Chuck Edwards, who. Like Ted Budd, is a federally licensed gun dealer, and he's also a representative in the North Carolina House of Representatives, and he's been very helpful to us at the General Assembly. So we'll see what happens. Madison Cawthorn clearly is the incumbent. However, he has garnered some hostility from within his own party. He's done. He's the youngest member of Congress, and I think one of the youngest members of Congress ever, and I think perhaps he's working on maturity issues in some respects.
That would be a career killer, no matter what choice you make.
Yes, indeed.
Now,
so in any case,
I was going to say, give us some more information on the grassroots organization and what it is y'all do.
Well, Grassroots North Carolina is exactly what the name implies. We are a grassroots collection of volunteers, all of whom from all walks of life who share a common concern that our constitutionally guaranteed freedoms are being eroded. Most of our projects involve protecting the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, and expanding gun rights. We've been legislatively active since 1994, and I'm happy to say that we have been central to drafting and passing our original concealed handgun permit law, concealed handgun reciprocity, which allows North Carolina permit holders to have reciprocal privileges with, I believe it's 38 other states right now. We passed Castle Doctrine and Stand Your Ground. Castle Doctrine being the law which allows you to protect your home in the event somebody forcibly and unlawfully enters it. We've passed enhancements to the concealed carry law, allowing people to carry in a variety of a much larger array of areas, including restaurants, providing the permit holder is not imbibing alcohol. He can carry in restaurants, public assemblies. There is a limited provision for educational properties and a variety of other places. So essentially, we are the state's main gun rights organization. And we spend a lot of time at the legislature protecting people's rights. That's what GRNC does. Again, grnc.org.
That was going to be my next line, is that they better go to grnc.org to get more information.
Absolutely.
And, of course, you can catch up on Paul's blog there, as well as the Guns, Politics, and Freedom show that's Saturday afternoon, premiering Saturdays at 1 in the afternoon, replaying throughout the week. So if you miss it, just keep your hands on the Big Talker app, and I promise it will come back.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you
so
much.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you having me.
It's been a wonderful morning, and I really hope on April 9th we have quite a turnout at the Steel. I'm not gonna read it off right.
Ring steel for freedom.
There it is.
Because when you shoot steel, it makes a ringing sound. That's why we're calling it Ring Steel for Freedom.
And that's why everybody should be there on April 9th, starting around, what, 10:30? 11?
Certainly by 10:30 registration starts, 11:30 is lunch.
And
Right.
lunch is going to be barbecue, which is a North Carolina staple.
There we go.
So
and you get to rub elbows with some of the major figures in North Carolina. Congressman Ted Budd, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. Mark has been driving the left absolutely nuts. It's great. It's so much fun to watch.
Well, thanks again, and
all right.
We will talk to you next week, unless you want to call in anytime during the week.
Very good, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we will talk to you next week. Take care. Let's see. Now I got to do my real job, which is tricky. All right, so now we're going to take a quick news and weather break, and we'll be right back at the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Don't go nowhere.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rivenbark with WWAY News. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is accusing the West of cowardice. Zelensky made an exasperated plea this weekend for fighter jets and tanks to sustain a defense in Europe's biggest ground conflict since World War II. He spoke after President Joe Biden met with senior Ukrainian officials in Poland on Saturday. Zelensky says he still needs jets and other defensive weapons to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. Closer to home, authorities say wind-driven wildfires in and around Great Smoky Mountains National Park have burned hundreds of acres in western North Carolina and forced the evacuation of several homes. The fires also prompted officials to close several trails and backcountry campsites in the nation's most visited national park. The park covers more than 520,000 acres straddling the border between North Carolina and Tennessee. Crews from the National Park Service, the North Carolina Forest Service, and other agencies are working to contain the fires. Both fires were started from power lines knocked down by high winds. Many people fish in the Cape Fear River for a low-cost source of protein to feed their families. That's why a number of environmental groups, including the North Carolina Coastal Federation and Duke University Superfund Research Center, are reminding people about the possible dangers of eating fish from the Cape Fear River. They held an event yesterday at the New Hanover County Arboretum. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency lists the river as an impaired waterway. Certain types of fish in the river could contain more contaminants than others. The Oscars looked kindly on Jessica Chastain last night. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress for playing televangelist Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which was filmed in North Carolina. It's the first Oscar for Chastain in 3 nominations. She beat out fellow Best Actress nominees Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart. For more on these stories, head over to WWAY-TV3.com. I'm Jeff Rivenbark. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. We have a cooler day to look forward to today, but we should stay rain-free with plenty of sunshine and high temperatures today for both coastal and those inland communities. We'll get into the lower 60s. So below average temperatures will be in store for us for the first half of the work and school week. As for tonight, a dry cold front pushes into the area, knocking our temperatures down into the middle and upper 30s overnight into early Tuesday morning. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAY-TV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by 2 Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to 2menandatruck.com. 2menandatruck.com.
Hi, this is Justin Humphreys from the Humphreys Law Firm on Eastwood Road. The Humphreys Law Firm is located in Lumina Station, Wilmington, North Carolina, practices civil litigation, intellectual property, commercial, and residential real estate. Please give us a call at 910-332-0721 or visit us on our website, which is www.humphreysfirm.law. You can also listen to me every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the Big Talker 106.7 FM.
O'Leary's Automotive Repair has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
Teachers and parents, the North Carolina Symphony is here to support you as you carry on the education of your children and students. Take your kids on a free virtual field trip to the Symphony with a virtual education concert and companion student book. Go on a virtual journey to learn what makes music music with music by William Grant Still, Beethoven, Brahms, and more. Access the free video and student book with password 1932 at ncsymphony.org/virtual.
Hey, welcome back to the Big Talker Online, the Big Talker Network. You are back in the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. On the Big Talker Network, bigtalker.live, bigtalker.live. Schedule of events, links to our Big Talker app. You can link our Big Talker app to the Bluetooth of your entertainment system in your car or your digital home assistants for hands-free. It's a really cool time to be alive. Anyway. Streaming live on the YouTube, Facebooks, and Twitters. And speaking of the YouTubes, if anybody listening or watching enjoys the YouTubes, been binging recently on the practical engineering videos, which is a lot of fun. I've had my own curiosity ever since I worked at the military channel on the concept of scale. Right, if you look around your house and you have little electrical outlets and you plug your light or your radio or your computer or whatever into it, and you get a little bit of juice and you power your laptop or your refrigerator or whatever. But look down your street. Every one of those people has electricity and water and internet and sewage, and they all have to drive streets to get there. And it's amazing what we operate on is what we ignore until there's a problem. And the interesting thing about this video series is that it's not like a news program where it points blame or tries to, understand what's at fault for an airplane going down in the ocean or something like that. This is more concerned with the practical engineering. And one of the things that he relates, and I have always had this feeling as a kid, and it's good to know that I'm not alone. There have been times where I've looked at these massive community supporting infrastructures and realized it's actually an art form which is the result of our existence. I mean, keep in mind, we got people like these, what was his name? The Jeremy Lane, 33-year-old Jeremy Lane for narcotics, right? Drug arrest this morning. How about the genius? Let me go find this guy again. Where'd it go? Oh. I can't believe I lost that story already. The guy with 3 first names who, got stuck in the water and had to call the very police he was running from to come and save him. Water rescue, which cost a couple $1,000s. Where's this guy? Mr. 3 first names. There's a couple of them with 3 first names. Here we go. Christopher Scott Deans. So across the entire spectrum, cross-section of humanity, from this Christopher Scott Deans and Corey Dustin Harris to the President Zelensky of Ukraine, there's a cross-section of information and conversations that can be had. And things like practical engineering sort of break that norm by having conversations that are more educational and enlightening. And hopefully we can have more discussions like that on the show or similar to that, so that people won't be surprised and outraged when they discover that the Memorial Bridge needs to be closed and replaced. And we can start appreciating practical engineering. We can start appreciating the infrastructure which we rely on for what it is. It's an expression of who we are as a society, as a culture, as a peoples, if you will. For example, it's not uncommon to see people hauling boats around on a Saturday morning. It's far more common to see that here in southeastern coastal North Carolina than it is in, say, Albuquerque, New Mexico. There's not a lot of places to drop a boat, so boats aren't a big thing. But out here, cactus aren't a big thing because there's, it's just not a cactus environment. In fact, I'm kind of embarrassed about the cactus they have growing down at the post office downtown. What is that, 2nd and Chestnut, I believe. If you look at all of those bloated and swollen cactus, they are not happy. A happy cactus has long, thin spikes. These have no spikes on them at all. And the spikes are basically designed by nature to absorb the morning dew. So when the temperature passes the dew point, all that moisture gathers on that little spike. It gets sort of drawn into the plant, and that's what makes it swell and hold on to water. However, these spikes will shrink and shrivel, atrophy, and die if there's so much water in the environment that they don't need it. It rains so much here, these cacti are actually drowning. When I was a kid, we had a yucca plant. I mean, it grows about like a bloom system. The way, if you've never seen an actual yucca, blooming yucca tree plant, whatever you want to call it, it's amazing. Kind of like I think palms do this as well, where the outside bark is actually a lattice work of crisscrossing leaves from previous blooms, right? And it builds itself up into this amazing structure, 10, 12, 14 foot tall, but maybe a foot and a half wide. It's amazing. It's a beautiful little plant. But it will not survive here. So looking at what is interesting, what is possible, what is of importance in an environment is going to define its culture. And as such, a lot of that culture is going to cross-section, but all of it is going to be supported by infrastructure. So whether you're a criminal, a capitalist, or a creator, we all drive on the roads, and those roads, we all drink the water, that water supply, right? All of this infrastructure needs to be brought to the forefront of conversation more so than it ever has been. The Cape Fear watershed, the Memorial Bridge, all of these issues are as important as our next senator. So in trying to have these conversations, it's got to be difficult to balance them, for lack of a better term, and try to keep them in the forefront. So programs or video content on YouTube, such as Practical Engineering, will help give you a little bit of an education that you may not have had in school, but allows you to understand the steps and engineering, I guess, the redundancy and the importance of safety and overbuilding, over-engineering. Because we've heard of, every year we hear of, anywhere from 10 to 100 stories of collapse, right? The Millennial Building in San Francisco and the Surfside condo, and, it's everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, everywhere. And right here in North Carolina, if we want to continue to have a thriving tourist industry, we want to make sure they can get here safely and leave safely when they're done. Have a good time, But until there's an education, a base education level, none of these people are going to, we can't come to some sort of rational conversation, some rational point where we can have this conversation and say, all right, this is obviously kind of important and it's something we need to pay attention to. So much for Monday. This Monday has ended, broadcast Monday for me. Stay tuned for Consumer Choice Radio following here shortly. And we will see you tomorrow morning. Don't forget Heard Tell at 6 in the morning, my show at 7. And then on from there, we will have Consumer Choice, Guns, Politics, When Radio Was, and all things Brunswick tomorrow night at 6. So please, stay tuned. Come back for more. Download the app. Yeah. Let's get our week started, ladies and gentlemen. Have fun. See you later. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Keeping Ocean Isle informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach.
Teachers and parents, the North